Don't do that.
Don't do that. Nah, don't do that.
I said, bare clippings coming already, bro. Bare clippings coming already, bro.
Listen. Yeah, that's good because this is why we started this podcast. Yeah, too much flip flopping in the WhatsApp group, so now it's on.
Not
tape.
remembering.
It's on video. Yeah,
I'm ready, bro.
and my man's there with the virtual scissors. So just watch what you're saying.
Oh, literally.
Keith's already known. Keith's already found out. Mate, so much to get through this week. So let me just
All right. What are we starting with?
Firstly, let's just start with everyone. Yeah, who's here? Well, everyone that was here last week, plus the person who's made some time for us this week in his busy international.
Nice of you to join us, man.
National
Did
schedule.
you notice he didn't pull up in the roles today? Come in the
Yeah. I clocked that still. I was looking for the prestigious vehicle.
That's crazy. That's mad.
Yo, marked man now. Marked man. Anyway, this week you got myself John.
Oh,
You don't know your name? You don't know your name?
Oh, I didn't know.
you're
I didn't
flipping.
know.
Yeah, you
flipped.
I know.
You flip one. That's how I'm gonna flip on.
Stay ready. If I'd gone to see you would have done it straight.
No, I'm
but
waiting
last
for him to say
week-
his name still.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
like,
alright, well, it's me, Isaac.
You lot bought him time to remember his name.
yeah, it's me, Mark.
That would-
Oh my god.
What do you want to do?
Whatever you wanna do, bro.
You wanna...
See? All right.
I'm him.
Yeah, it's me, Daz.
Keith,
The what decade is that top from?
Oh my.
the decade I was born, the 80s.
Them ones.
80s.
Listen, relax.
Oh. Sorry.
That top right there represents greatness.
No, I'm just saying. I just see the candy. When it's candy, normally that's when the videos are like in standard definition and that. You know them ones.
Was that the last one before the 30-year spell started?
Here we go.
I'm just asking a question, bruv.
Soon playing that kid.
Is that the one where you lost the FA Cup final?
Right.
To Wimbledon.
No.
Wow.
It was a candy top. It wasn't.
That's not the one where Michael Thomas was doing the somersault on the floor and that. Not that
That's what
one.
we're doing. Yeah?
Yeah, I'm just asking. All right.
Surely it's not a gender.
All right. Well, listen, since we last spoke, International Week, there's been a few comings and goings. A few people have decided to leave the game. But I feel let's start with England because last week we did a lot of talking about Gareth and the squad he picked and his favourites and blah, blah, blah. And as we recorded, he's won 2 games in a row, beating the current European champions. Let's start with England. And there's lots to branch off from there. You know, Mr. Kane, etc.
Are we ready to admit his Prem bias?
Who, Gareth?
Gareth Southgate.
I don't think that's even I don't think that anyone can deny it. I don't think he would deny it if someone asked him. I mean, I'd love to ask Gareth a few questions, but
Is it a Prem bias or is it just a bias for a select few players? Because certain players in the Prem will say he's not got a Prem bias because he's not picking us.
Yeah, that's true.
So is it a Prem bias?
Well, I saw a quote that he came out and said that, you know, essentially his parameter for, you know, picking the players is you have to be playing, number one, you have to be playing Champions League. And then ideally you do have to be playing regularly in the Premier League.
So how did Harry get in there?
This is it. So that's why I'm a bit perplexed because you've got Fikayo Tomori, who's playing regular Champions League ball and in a title-winning squad. You have
Omo Balogun.
Hey, okay.
And by the way, this is about being picked for the squad. We're not saying no one said anyone should start. No one should anyone should get directly in the team. This is about being selected for the squad. There are people who say when Fikayo has turned up on these shores, he hasn't covered himself in glory.
That's an understatement. That's an understatement. The thing is, with Gareth, every week, what is he watching? He's watching a Prem game. So playing in Serie A, you're going to be seen less often.
But
so is it a thing of out of sight, out of mind?
How does Jude Bellingham get in the squad?
Yeah, exactly.
I think Jude's got credit in the bank.
No, but you can't.
Just from his performances for England. So
how did he get in the first place?
How did he get there?
Because
I think he was pressured. So I think with Gareth Southgate, not a lot of the squad is picked based on pressure, but there's a few players in the squad that he's picked because their performances have warranted them to be picked, and he's been put under pressure by the English media. Bellingham was one of them. Maddison, definitely one of them. And I think Tony to an extent as well. Like, I think it got to the point where he couldn't ignore Tony anymore because he got called up for the last squad before this round.
Mm.
I think of the Nations. And he left him on the bench for 2 games when you could arguably say he was in better form than Harry Kane at the time. Certainly Wilson for Newcastle.
Mm.
So I think it gets to a point where certain players are pressured into the squad, and then if they perform, he's like, all right, then I'll keep them around, which has happened with Bellingham.
Yeah. So my issue with that is twofold. One, why do you even have to get to that point where it's pressure, right? You're in that position. You're there to kind of cherry pick what the best is to you, right? It doesn't have to be the best performing, what the best is to you to give you a chance of winning. I do agree. We'll never be able to prove it. It's one of the subjective things, but I do think Gareth Southgate does get to that pressure point. And just to answer your point, Daz, at the end of the day, he is the head coach of one of the biggest international teams in the world. Probably got more resources than 99% of all the international teams. He can have any video analysis he wants. He can expense any flights he wants to any games. So yes, proximity-wise, he will see more of the Premiership players. But to be honest, the difference between watching Tomori on video at AC Milan or whoever on video at Man United because you weren't there yourself, it's the same difference.
But he would a Man United player, he's gonna see him live. He can go to a game, a Premiership game, see 5, 6, 7 players that he could possibly put in his squad, or rather flying away to Italy to see one player.
And then you can watch tomorrow.
But on the videos, is he going to sit there and watch 90 minutes of tomorrow's game? I don't think he will.
But it doesn't have to be him.
Yeah,
He's
got a coaching staff, an extensive one. You're the English national team.
And someone like Tomori, he's been in the squad though. He's been in the squad, so he has called him up. Maybe he didn't perform in training. Maybe he didn't like what he saw when he was in the squad.
But I think what people struggle is when they see other people in the same position who haven't played as much, who when they have played at club level have not been of a certain standard, and then you have someone who has gone to one of the top 3, we would say Italy is one of the top 3 leagues in Europe, right? You've got Spain, Italy, and the Prem, right? He's performed in that league. He's performed in a team that's won the title there. He's maintained his place over 2 or 3 seasons, yet other people still not only get picked in the squad ahead of him, they start games ahead of him. I think that's what people struggle with.
Can we name names? Who are we?
Harry Maguire.
Maguire.
I call it Harry Maguire.
Eric Dyer.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think that's what people struggle with. Again, he could turn around to us and be like, "Whoa, lads, have you seen my results?"
To your point, there was another quote that I saw in relation to Balogun, where he said that he hasn't played enough in the Premier League this season to be considered.
Southgate's quote.
Yeah.
Directly from Southgate.
Yeah, that's why tomorrow's not getting picked in.
And it's laughable because if you look at the squad, you've got Calvin Phillips, who's managed 56
Doesn't
minutes.
make sense,
We touched on this last time, but he's managed 56 minutes across 3 games all season, but he's still considered good enough to play. So if Balogun's doing the job, which he is at Reims, he's scoring, he's putting in performances, then one would think that he's in contention, or at least be in the conversation.
I'll be honest, I would prefer it. Sorry, keep 1 second. I'd prefer it if Gareth just said how it was. There are people that I'm going to pick because regardless, I know what I'm going to get out of them. And there are other spots that are not filled by those people. So if you're good enough,
that's exactly what
and the circumstances fall, I will put you in there. As a football fan, I think that's rubbish.
That's why they don't win nothing.
But that's what he should come out and say. All of this politicking is what leads to all of this debate. Do you understand? If he just came out and just said, look, this is my thing. Like I can imagine whenever, it was the same when Conte was Italy manager, or whenever Jose Mourinho becomes a national. Bro, this is what we're going to get. I pick him because I like him, innit? When he turns up, he does what I want. He might not play well for that manager, and Jose will probably name him. Doesn't play well for John at local London FC. But when he comes for me, he plays well. And he will just say it, and that's that. So, but...
So they're not playing at all, though.
Yeah, no, I agree.
That's mad.
No, I agree. So then the problem is, I know I keep going back to it. He's probably been the most successful England manager of recent times.
Probably.
Easily.
Not
he
probably.
is, but
you
still question.
Yeah, he's questionable.
No, you can
still question what he's done and how he's
definitely
like. If you touch.
Yes, there's no, it's true. That's not his fault, but there's nuance to it. He's
the luckiest, fine, but that's not his fault.
Yeah, if you touch on the performances, even if you take the 2 games that they just played on Thursday and yesterday.
Yep. Sunday.
Same. Take even going back to the semi-final of the previous World Cup and the final of the Euros. first half, excellent. Game management, sat back. On Saturday,
Same thing.
On Saturday, playing dominating.
Same thing.
Dominating them. Come out for the second half, sat back, didn't push on.
Same
what are you
thing.
expecting?
Yesterday.
What are you expecting exactly?
Kill the game.
Yeah, but if Gareth Southgate is basic, at best, even though he's been England's best manager to date, or should I say in recent times, he's still basic. So you're expecting more than what he's giving you.
But you've got to learn. If it happens in 2018, 2021, when the final was, we're now in 2023, I think you've got the right to say, if you're winning a game, a crucial big game, why are you not able to see it out?
But they did see it out. They got 6 out of 6, 6 points out of 6 the other day.
No, great, but I'm talking about the performances in the second half.
Yeah, because
if they're up against better opposition, which happened, Croatia were arguably better than us in the World Cup cycle. Italy weren't really better than us in the Euros, but we let them back into the game.
We sat back as soon as we scored.
He changed a few, he did some tweaks.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think Southgate has done really well, but there's something missing when it's about taking us to the next level when it counts, and I don't see it.
This is probably as good as he's ever going to get him.
So
I don't. I think again, you're asking for more than what he's capable of giving you.
But if you're his employers, right?
Yeah.
Do you see yourself winning in this cycle? So the cycle, right? We've had a World Cup and a Euro is gone. So next cycle is another Euros and a World Cup. Does Gareth improve on his best so far?
He probably doesn't.
And if he doesn't, why don't you make a change and build on what he's built?
And bring in who?
I think he gets
get to that.
there or thereabouts.
That's the question.
I think this will be his last tournament. The next Euros will be his last tournament. I don't think he goes to the World Cup.
Okay.
And I believe they're going to be there or thereabouts. They're going to be quarterfinal, semi-final, final. Just depends. I think that last little bit that they need to get over the line, I don't think no one can determine that. That's going to come down to your piece of luck.
Well,
or on the day, someone doing something special. Whatever happens, I believe they're going to be there or thereabouts.
So just to challenge that, right? So yes, I agree that if you get to the final, a lot of what you have done or what you do has worked. Yeah, you got to the final.
Yeah.
But is it fair to challenge and just say, at that level, yes, you can have luck. You can have someone do something wonderful. But actually, how you manage that game, how you execute your plan, etc., that all factors as well. That's why there have been, over a period of time, people who have won more than others, right? So that's why I asked the question originally and saying, if you're the FA, take the fan noise out of it. If you actually don't feel like he can better his best to date, which is now a major tournament final or Euros final, World Cup final is a different proposition. What I don't understand in football sometimes is someone has to be falling, someone has to be failing before you change. Sometimes actually, this is great. Thank you, brought us this far. I'm gonna,
get someone in
who has done that. You asked a great question. Who else? Then we get to another problem. I don't see England, whilst I'm alive, unless they get really bad, employing a national team manager who's not English.
That's exactly what I was thinking. And then based on that, what other English managers are you gonna what other managers even come to mind to think, okay, well, they can probably be better than Southgate?
No, it's a fair challenge.
It has to be either a foreign manager that's currently already with another national team, or you just have to take a potluck with another English manager.
Or you wait until the Potters of this world are ready to do that.
That's probably the best shout.
Yeah, fair enough.
Probably the best shout. And I don't think he's going to do much better than Southgate.
Fair enough. Just to go on.
No, I was just going to say that I think England are in a kind of a good position in terms of the Euros, that a lot of the other European teams are in transition.
Yeah, true.
So to Dad's point, I think they'll be there or thereabouts, but I don't think like it's necessarily based on their performances. I just think it's based on what's out there in the current European national team.
Do you think the talent pool is big enough?
For England? Oh yeah, for sure. Like I think this is one of the best England squads or proper players.
Despite Southgate coming out and saying we're going to have to start looking into the Championship.
I think that's a cop-out.
Are you really trusting what Southgate is saying? Based on everything he says?
I know, but that's why
can only take him at what he says.
No, I heard the percentage. So when he started the job, apparently it was 39% of English players in the Premier League, and now it's down to 33%.
Yeah.
So that's what he was basically saying, that the talent pool is getting less.
But he's only picking from 10%, so it doesn't matter. Does it?
Well, so this is where people love throwing out stats, and I just think, okay, that's fine. My thing would be, number one, is that better or worse than other countries in a similar position? If I think about it, yes and no, but so Italy, Germany and Spain have probably got more of their own nationals playing in the league than foreigners, to be honest, right? So he's probably looking at that and said, actually, of the other top leagues, we've got the lowest. However, to Keith's point, there are plenty of players who are playing in the Premiership, playing at a high level, and it's clear to everybody that you're not selecting them. James Maddison, what did it take for him to get in that squad? It took injuries, it took
3 years.
pressure. The guy was playing out of his skin at a club like Leicester, and he could not get in that squad for love nor money. But Jack Grealish, who himself has admitted that since he's turned up at Man City, he hasn't really done the business, was getting in the squad every single time. So for football fans, it's just interesting to hear Gareth come out and almost lament how big or not the pool is. But some would argue you're not even managing the pool you've got to a certain level. Because then that brings, again, I'd be interested to see what the future of England for Maddison is. If he maintains his current performance level, I'd be very interested to see what that means for the squad, because people will come back from injury, people will be available, and I want to see what Gareth does with him. And then secondly, there's the Flo Balogun conversation as well that Isaac brought up earlier. He's playing in a top 5 European league. I've shifted the goalpost a little bit, but that's how we refer to Europe. He's the top scorer in that league. And if you listen to the commentary that's coming out of France, so people that don't have an Arsenal bias, they don't have Rems. Who has a Rems bias? No, we don't know anyone from them, right? And they're all saying, to my surprise as well, that he looks the real deal. And even if he doesn't repeat again, the way he's played this season is like a top level striker. Why? And Nigeria sniffing around a little bit less because you got Osimhen and Nachos and other talents. America have invited him to just come and have a look at the training camp. No pressure. Book your holiday. He's there now, right? He's been there for the international break.
In Orlando.
Yeah, and he's just have a look, mate. No pressure. This is the facilities. This is where your name will be, but we didn't say that. Don't worry. We haven't got any decent strikers for the next 2 cycle of tournaments. It could be you. I think it would be a travesty. And again, I'm not the first to say it if you listen to other commentary. If England miss out on him, I think that's a big failing on his part.
I mean, let's be honest, if we look at the list ahead of him, the list of strikers ahead of him, Kane is what? How old is he?
33 now, I want to say 30.
No, it's like 30. I think he's 30.
Right? He just runs like it.
He's 30.
Coming right behind him, we've got Ivan Toney, right? Marcus Rashford can play there. Callum Wilson.
Yeah. I think Wilson's a bit up there in age as well.
Is it? Yeah, fair enough. They're up there in age. They're already established ahead of Balogun, right?
Yes.
But he made a comparison.
Is it realistic? Is it realistic to sit and wait in line for your turn, or does he just do what we all think he should do? Well, I can't speak for everyone. What I think he should do is and just accept the offer from the US men's team.
So, what did he say? What did he say on his post, his last post or something?
Oh, go where you're wanted.
Go where you're wanted.
Yes.
So what did he want from England? All he wanted was a call up.
Yeah.
He didn't expect to play. Kane's there. He knows that. But go where you're wanted.
And he's already switched.
We're doing a lot of inference though. You might not have been talking about it.
No, of course. But again, just to put some facts in the convo, he played for America at youth level. Then he switched the lenses to England. He's played lots of times for England 21s. Again, we know in the past that doesn't mean anything. We've had people break under 21 records. I mean, Nketiah is there. No one's asking that why is he being called up, right?
I even forgot Nketiah.
No.
Right. Go.
So I think the question is, even if he chooses USA, the FA needs to be able to say we tried, right? We called him up. We did X. We did Y. And to the outside world, at least, he doesn't even look like he's on the radar because he hasn't done enough yet because he's just scoring goals in that little league in France.
You say the FA would need to say that they've tried. Why would they need to say that they've tried? The only reason they'd have to say that is if he comes back to Arsenal, bangs up the league, and everyone's like, "Oh, why is he not playing for England?" Right now, they don't have to say anything.
I'll give you a reason. They messed up with Musiala.
Yeah,
It's a different player though.
No, but
We don't know if
No.
Musiala.
No, but it's the same thing.
They
It's the
messed
same
up.
thing.
They
No,
messed
but they
up
never
with
really
Musiala.
messed up with
They did
Musiala
because he was playing
I know he
in
was-
the England setup.
he was in the England setup, but he wasn't English as such. He even come out and said
No,
it
he's
like he
born
never
in-
really
I swear he was
considered
born
England.
Mm.
He felt German.
The
And-
reason-
So I just want to say, just on that point, you bang up Eddie and Ketia, and I think that's a good comparison for
Mhm.
Balogun
yes.
because the way Southgate sees it, Nketiah is above Balogun.
Yeah,
because
of
he's
course.
done it in the Prem.
Yeah.
And basically Southgate's looking at it, he doesn't rate the French league. I don't think
Not many
Balogun was
do.
anywhere near getting in the squad. Nowhere near. I think he would pick Nketiah.
He has
before
to
pick
come back to
Balogun.
Arsenal.
Okay,
before he
but
does
yeah.
anything.
Here's the
And
thing:
that's-
you can say that he might not rate the league, but he's playing against top level defenders. Maybe not every single week, but you can look at his performances against PSG. Both games this season, he's played out of his skin.
Bro, we can't get him to pick players in England.
Yeah, but that's what we're saying.
I
But to
know.
your point, to your question earlier, one of the things that football associations do look at is for all the people that are eligible, how many have we been able to put on the shirt for us? They all do it, right?
Yeah.
Especially the bigger nations. So when talents that were eligible for England, quote unquote, slip through the net or they pick a different allegiance, they do have a look and say, actually, did we do all we can? Because if the player just said, you know what, thanks you, man, but I'm done, I'm gonna play for that's fine. But if they look at it and say, you know what, the guy was a top scorer in the league that Kylian Mbappe plays in, yeah, and even at that time, and everyone's right, he could come back to Arsenal and it's just nothing. But today, now, he's performing very well in a top 5 league. If that doesn't warrant just a call up, not saying he needs to even make bench, bro. Just a call up as recognition of where you're performing at the moment.
Yeah,
I do think that's a missed opportunity.
Yeah, I think that
That's
helps.
what I'm saying.
Even if you get the call up, you say, right, I'm being looked at. They want to see what I can do. And to go back to your point about what can FA do, remember, Declan Rice played 3 times for Ireland before England said, oh, he's got something about him.
The men's first team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But he played friendly. He played friendly, so he could change allegiance.
So that's going back to what I was about to say next.
Yeah.
If let's say he get called up
Yeah.
for England,
Yeah.
and just came on the pitch
Yes.
for the last 10 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
he can't go and play for USA after that.
No, I
Yeah.
agree.
No,
And
but
I'm
if
not-
it's-
And
if
that-
it's
and
a
that-
friendly,
that's
if it's a
just
friendly, Ken.
unethical.
And it's not fair
No, I understand
because
that.
he
but
may not get another call up for England, and that's his whole international career done.
I agree, but let's separate 2 things. Let's separate what he would do. I'm looking at from an England point of view. Should they have called him up?
Win some, you lose some. You can't have every player playing for your country.
So
That's-
you're
well,
going
you
to
can.
basically tag him. You're basically going to call him up now, tag him, be like, okay, we'll have him.
It's
So
not
put
fair.
him on the fixture 5 minutes and then think, oh, well, we got him now. We can bring him
I'll
back
be honest
whenever
with
we
you.
feel like.
Yeah.
There's plenty of players that have done that.
If he makes it, he
It's not
doesn't.
fair though.
Yeah,
And
but-
I don't think they should do
It's
that.
not fair, though.
And from Balogun's point of view as well, I think he should wait. He's 21 years old. He should
Right.
wait. He's got time.
Agree.
I think he should only wait as long as his options determined.
All right.
If Balogun gets selected for USA now, he starts in that 11. They are definitely getting to the World Cup. There's no one in that.
So wait,
Yeah.
Southgate's right then
In what sense?
to wait, not
Not
call
picking.
him up.
I don't agree. And I don't think he plays. If he calls into this squad, he doesn't play ahead of Kane. He doesn't play ahead of Tony.
Yeah.
I don't
He
personally think he
probably doesn't
plays.
come on. He'll probably just
Yeah.
like
And I think you got
experience
to
it.
look at it realistically.
Exactly, bro. Exactly.
If Harry Kane doesn't suffer a significant injury in the next 2 years, 3 years, he's starting for England at the Euros and the World Cup.
No, I agree. And by the way, this is just saying, for a lot of these guys, in recognition, the amount of people that have been called up, they've had a good streak. We've never seen or heard from them again, right? But they got called up. That was the recognition. I don't know him, and I don't have all the facts. But if you put me on the phone with him today, go and play for the USA, bro.
Straight. I'd say
For your
so.
own personal career, go and play for the USA. You got to
I
be
would
tactical
choose
about
the
these things
USA.
now.
Straight.
I would choose.
Yeah. What would you do,
What
Des?
would you if I felt I was good enough,
Yeah.
I'd wait.
Hmm.
Because he's got time with USA. Because really, USA, they've got the World Cup in 2026.
Yeah.
So that's when you really want to be there because they're looking for a poster boy for that tournament.
Mm.
Your brand goes through the roof if you're the poster boy for USA for that
Exactly.
tournament.
Exactly.
So
Why not start now then?
Facts.
I think he's got time because it depends on what he would rather. Would you rather play for USA or would you rather play for England? If you would rather play for England, then I'd wait if that's what you want to do.
But what about the footballing benefits of being involved at men's level international setup? So at the moment, he's under 21s. It could even help his club career if he's regularly involved with an international team. What are USA? USA are not, they're not 100 ranked 100 in the world.
They're climbing.
So he will go there, benefit from all the trillions of dollars they've got over there in sports side. So I think it's a cyclical thing, right? His actual club career could benefit from him being at a men's level international setup if he picks America or UK. Nigeria would have to have a different
I think he needs to, first of all, worry about his club, going back to Arsenal and then getting in there first before he starts thinking about international. I think you're skipping a step. He needs to make sure that he's a regular playing in the Premier League.
And you don't think that puts pressure on Arsenal?
I'm jumping ahead a bit, but do you think he stays at Arsenal next year?
I don't think so.
Because he's already touched on that.
I don't think he does. Nope. Like you've got Gabby.
Stays as in they sell him or another loan?
He goes
I can see more another loan. Yeah, another loan.
I mean, like not in the Arsenal setup next year.
Yeah, I think another loan to a Premiership team. Yeah, a lower Premiership team.
Fair enough.
That's what
I actually
believe.
think if I'm him, and this is the problem because he signed a new deal 2 years ago. He's got 2 years left. If I'm his agent, I'm saying, look, the clock's ticking. He's just, even if he doesn't score another goal for the rest of the season, he's scored 16, 17 goals. He wants to carry on that momentum. He does well again next season. Also, going to come running, we want to give you a new contract. We're back in the Eddie Nketiah situation again, right? So I actually think that he either goes on loan to a high level team next year. I can see a Prem loan next year, if I'm honest.
It might not even be Prem. Like he's put himself in the window. Like
what, loan wise?
Yeah, it's like he could be going Germany.
True.
He could go Italy.
But I think Arsenal would want to see him in the Prem. I think Arsenal would want him to go in the Prem. I can see like a Crystal Palace, someone like that.
Well, wherever he goes, I think it'll be no disrespect to Rem, but it'll be a level above. So maybe a Europa League team, someone that's playing 2 games a week, all the little things they want to see in your development. But then if you're Arsenal, he does that next season, then he's a year away. He's a year away.
So now the ball's kind of in his court.
Right. So that's what I'm saying to you actually. When you put that big picture together, go to USA, become a first 11 men's player in a decent level international team. Keep doing your club thing. You will have the big... What are you waiting for? What, to keep playing on the 21s?
The thing is, if you look at the long term, USA, all right, yep, nice, good nation. In footballing terms, not the biggest.
Yep.
You could go to the World Cup. Potentially with England, if you become great, you could potentially win that World Cup. USA ain't going to win that World Cup.
How much is he going to play for that England team that wins the World Cup? Let's be honest.
Bro.
It depends on how good he gets. What if he comes to the Premiership and scores 20 goals?
Still alive.
If he comes and scores 20 goals like what he's doing in France,
who's he going to play ahead of?
Whilst Harry Kane is playing for England,
he's not playing.
He's not starting ahead of Harry Kane.
Kane is skipper as well. He's not playing.
Kane's getting on,
bro. Unless Kane is injured,
Kane could get injured. Yeah, he could get
injured.
I'm
saying, but that's the only way.
Exactly.
There's too many variables.
And if Rashford carries on the way he's carrying on, he's starting before Rashford started before him.
Down the middle.
Well, if Gareth doesn't feel like he's mugging off to England,
this is another thing.
To be fair, apparently that wasn't Southgate's quote. It was someone said Southgate would be upset about Rashford. It didn't come direct from the source.
Okay, cool. It didn't come directly from him, but it's come from someone close enough to feel like they can talk for him.
I'm not gonna lie, these days, if I don't see you say it or a reputable journalist quotes you, I'm not having it. Because me, I can go and kind of say, Baba, I think Isaac would say X, Y, Z. Isaac like, bruv, down, man. I didn't say that. Talking about, I don't agree. You know what I mean?
Fair enough. But probably he'd only say that because the backlash in the media, which is what's been happening. Fair enough.
I think to your point, Daz, if you're looking from a footballing point of view, England aren't missing anything from not calling him up immediate, like in the next cycle.
Yeah.
But I think if you look at it wider, and when you've got the head coach making comments about, we don't have enough players playing at elite level, you can be like, well, hold on, you do have players. You're not picking them. You're not doing some things that someone would look at as a bit of a medium-term strategic option. Now, if you look at it from just the player's point of view, bro, we have seen so many players. You have to play games. You have to play as many games as you can at the highest level that you can. So if he has to, if he has to choose between under 21s England or knowing that he's gonna play for the US and get in that team,
under 21s,
just go, bro. You go and play for USA first teams and just sharpen yourself as early as you can.
If you're Balogun coming back to Arsenal, what are you looking for?
To force your way into the starting.
Good question.
You're asking Arteta for game time.
It's near impossible the way it is right now.
loan move, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
One or the other.
And then if you do the business there, that's it.
That's it. I agree.
You say should be, but Kane is still there, bro. It's not happening.
No. I'm not saying he's going to start, but he's going to be there. He should be there.
Yeah.
And that goes back to the point of going to play for the US. If he gets into the squad, how much minutes is he going to get based on the fact that Kane is still there? And then you've got Rashford and you've got Tony.
I mean, we've seen they're going to play Rashford. To be honest,
the point is though, if he gets
competing with Tony, basically.
But if he gets, even if he just gets 10 minutes, bro, in a competitive game, he's written off.
That's why I said if I'm him, I'm probably going to the US.
Yeah,
but
and also you got to think about if he doesn't take the USA offer now, is it off the table? Like, they might.
Depends how he progresses.
You never know.
Depends how he progresses.
No, what I'm saying, if they say to him, like you say he's there now, and he goes, you know what, I want to see how it goes with England.
Yeah,
doesn't get a competitive cap. Then the USA might not say. They might go to him and say, I think, you know what, I don't think.
I think because USA are still on the upward side of their footballing maturity, they'll always take talent that's good. I think the risk is. And I'm not an expert on the pipeline of USA players.
The MLS.
But I've not.
You don't watch the MLS?
Nah.
Listen.
I've not even watched 7 MLS games.
You don't know who's coming through.
But the risk that is a risk in any of these situations. You don't do it, and then someone bursts on the scene next pre-season, that's badding up the MLS or gets a move to Europe, or someone like him who didn't even grow up there, but all of a sudden can play for US, and then, but I do think if there's a spot in the team, I mean, they need 2 or 3 people in the squad. I don't think in the next cycle he's not at any risk of that. I don't think he's at any risk of that. But I think to kind of bring it back to everything, I think Gareth Southgate's in a place now where the results are backing up whatever methods he's choosing, whether we like it or not. But questions still remain about what methodology, strategy he's using to select the squad, what people have to do to make it into that squad, and actually, is he too rigid in his favourites, in his bias towards the Prem, etc. Because you can't be going to pick players from the Championship when we've got people in top leagues doing it week in, week out. I just think that doesn't look great for him. I don't think that looks great for him. But if we look at some of the other results from last week, I was going to pick some out. I've got to go straight to the France-Netherlands game.
Wow.
I mean...
surprising.
Very.
Really? Is it though? Is it? I wasn't shocked.
Did they have sickness in the camp though, Netherlands?
No.
I thought a few people had to...
Maybe they said that after.
A few people had to withdraw.
I think the issue's been Koeman taken over. Like, people have been questioning kind of his desire. He's picked a player from Ajax that's not playing for Ajax, and he basically was like, I've got no other options. He doesn't seem infused about the job, and watching the game on the weekend, he seemed to have rubbed off on the players. Like they've still got a decent team out. Like they've still got Depay, Ronaldo's back, playing well for Roma.
VVD,
Ake. All the regulars are there, so that's why I say it was a bit surprising, like the manner of the defeat. And I think, Holland have got a lot of soul searching to do.
If you listen to people that know Dutch football, obviously they've got their merry-go-round of who manages the team, right? You know, Ronald Koeman, LVG, the Cavacat, it just kind of goes round. I think they're another country. If you're not Dutch, you're not managing that team. And if you're not Dutch, I haven't played for Real Madrid or Barcelona or one of those guys, you can't manage the team. And apparently they're very, very wedded to 4-3-3, Johan Cruyff way. Like, if you depart from that,
total football.
Yeah, you're in problems.
He's God over there.
Yeah.
God. So, football God over there.
But still, when you've got the kind of talent that Keith has just listed, you shouldn't be losing 4-0 in that manner as well. It was rapid goals. It was crazy.
Okay, was it a bad Dutch performance, or were the French just on smoke?
I would say from watching the game, it was probably a bit of both. Yeah. I think it's equal both.
They were shell shocked. Like France came out the blocks really fast, and like Holland took a while to react.
Was this hangover from the World Cup and not winning, and then saying, all right, we've got a big team next. this is the bounce back. This is the get back.
A hangover
Look,
this
we're-
far gone from the World Cup.
Doesn't matter, bro.
It was only 3 months ago.
It's only 3 months.
Yeah, but they've all gone
It's
and
the
played for
next
their
game,
own
but
clubs.
it's the next game, though.
It's the next
It's
game.
the
Yeah.
first
They've
game.
gone and played for their own clubs. You're going to
First
come back
game.
and tell me I'm going to hangover from what happened
But
3-4
remember,
months ago.
it's a change of management. It's like,
Are you blaming management for that loss?
yeah, I think if your manager's coming out before the game and saying, I'm picking a player because that's all I can pick at the minute.
I remember this Ronald Koeman, so play it in your head in Ronald Koeman voice.
Yeah, but that's one player. All the other players you mentioned
Yeah, no, it's true.
are decent players.
I
So
mean, VVD, who Liverpool fans will tell you is the greatest defender since sliced bread. I mean, it's just
yeah,
like-
some
VVD was
Liverpool
playing.
fans. Yeah,
Damn.
some Liverpool
Mm.
No,
That's
okay.
another
So let me, if I just relate it to like a Premier League game, for example. Yeah, sorry to all the Man United games. Yeah, I'm actually. This is actually a pro Liverpool thing. Man United players. Yeah, are you blaming? Are they blaming Ten Hag for that 7-0 loss?
Partially, yeah.
It can't be on the
I
manager.
think-
I don't know why we're
I think
always
it's
blaming
different.
managers.
Players.
For,
I think it's different
More the
international
players for
level,
that
though.
game.
no,
They're not going to
fo-
blame.
why do we always say different
Like-
thing?
like-
Because
Football
it
is
is.
football.
It's
No,
nuance.
it's not.
Nuance.
No.
No,
come
okay. If
on.
you're getting piped that many goals early, pause. First pause. But yeah, now, if you're getting piped that much here, how are you then telling me it's the manager's fault, bro? You can't. He didn't set you up to go out there and just
no.
lay down.
What?
And,
So you didn't go training? Didn't prepare in a certain way?
He didn't pick the team. He didn't.
Yeah.
No, I understand what you're saying. When it's a 7-0, it's mostly the players' faults. Yes, I agree. But you can't absolve the manager because if they beat a team 7-0, we're not going to say it's only the players.
I get that, but you can't just blame the manager.
I'm not
Like,
doing. We're not
that
just
one there.
blaming the
You're
manager.
saying it's Koeman's fault because he put a Ajax man that hasn't played.
No, but
No,
I
but
just
what he
think no, but
said,
I'm just
though,
saying
that's contribution.
in terms of the squad and like the harmony, like watching his interviews, he looked dejected. He doesn't seem up for it. Like it seems to have just flowed down into
This
the squad.
interview was that after or before the
No,
game?
before the game.
Was VVD playing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
like that.
I saw him
That
turn around like a bus for the goal.
most of the players.
If Madder said something like, "Yeah, you just got to play Mark today because where
Imagine.
you're gonna be there."
Nah,
No, I hear that. I hear that still.
for
I hear that
context,
still.
for context,
I hear
that's
that.
our old Saturday League manager.
I hear that,
So, yeah.
but that's not going to make
Terrell's
the
just
whole
bringing it
team
home for
around us crumble to the point where we're just getting smacked up like that.
Well, look, it could be an
Happens.
adverse result. We'll see, right? We'll see. But it just the manner of it was interesting. New manager first game is still a good start. But then if we move on to Belgium, I'm laughing because I think Roberto Martinez is one of the funniest men in football. So if we move on to Belgium, Martinez has gone and we'll go to his new team soon. 3-0 win. Mark, I'm going to be intentionally reductive here and say Martinez has gone and they beat a decent team 3-0. Can we say it's the manager?
No. Who did they beat 3-0?
Sweden.
Come on, man.
And who got that? Who got a hattie?
What would
Who got
would Belgium not have beaten
Chelsea's
them 3-0?
Wait, who got the hat
No,
coming
but answer the
straight
question.
Yeah.
Belgium beat teams. It's not like Belgium don't beat anybody. Would they not have beat Sweden potentially if Thingy was still there?
No way.
What do you mean no way?
I think
I'm with Mark.
yeah, I think
Belgium's
in qualifying,
qualifying
man.
record is
Yeah,
ridiculous.
I think
They
you
won
are-
10
you
out
are
of
giving
10.
them
No,
no credit.
10 out of 10.
No, I'm saying these are.
Hold on.
with you.
No credit.
I'm being facetious because
Okay.
I
Are
have
you
a
just
view-
saying that because
I
I've
have
got
a view
backers?
of I have a view of him in it of Mr. Martinez. So hence what? No, but you're right. Look, yeah, we'll get to him in a second. But yes, Mr. Lukaku redeemed himself at a point where people would say it's a little bit late.
Did the
bro.
ball bounce off his shin or did
He did as well for the second In fact, he didn't even bounce off his shin. It came so fast at him. He swung his leg, he missed it, and it hit the defender behind him and went in. I was laughing because everywhere had said Lukaku hat trick. So when I watched it, I was like, this guy. I feel for him. I like him as a player, like him as a person, but those 3 goals
Might give him
epitomized.
some confidence. Though.
No, it will.
Goals breed confidence, innit?
You
Yeah,
think this is
yeah,
it?
man.
You think this is the comeback? The start of the
You
comeback?
never know.
At international. To be fair, he's never had a bad international record, so
That's true. He's
that's not where he's judged. Like I know in the World Cup he missed chances. I don't think he was fully fit. Like I'm not being a Lukaku defender.
No, it sounds like you're
But
an Avenger.
I'm just saying. But his issues never been at international level, innit? Like his issues when he's of recent been at a top club.
I think he gets a hard rap. I'm not gonna lie. I feel if Lukaku gets a tough rap because he's not easy on the eye, and I think people conveniently ignore the numbers. It's just a natural bias thing. When you like someone, the numbers support you. When you think he's rubbish and he touches like he's got Timberlands on and all the memes we saw, you're not even going to look at that. So
But
I
he
think
doesn't
it's
do himself any favors. That's the problem.
In what sense, though?
In the sense that the debate or the conversation will come up, and then he's under the spotlight, and then he will go and put in a shocking performance, i.e. the World Cup. Coming into that World Cup, there was the whole issue around Inter Milan and Chelsea and whatnot. His performances in the league, and even since the World Cup, he's not really been. He's not really found the form that he hoped he would find going back to Inter Milan.
Yeah. No, that's
So-
true. That's fair.
So that's
He's
why I
had
say.
injuries, though. He's been out for some time.
But even when he was fit and healthy, he wasn't performing. And I think I personally feel he expected to walk back into that squad, but they had Dzeko. Dzeko was like, "No, big man, I came here to replace you. I'm the guy now." So that's why I say I don't think he's done himself any favors. I just don't think he's put the performances in when required.
Yeah, fair enough.
On Lukaku, though, I do believe I'm with you. I don't think he was fit at the World Cup. I think it's harsh to judge him on that. I don't think he was fit at all. Rush back. They had no one else to think, yep, you've got to come on. You come and save us. He weren't ready. Everyone could see he weren't ready. If you look at his numbers, he's a top striker. I'm sorry, he's a top striker. If you look at his Prem numbers, people say, oh, Man United, when's it Man United, at Chelsea, he flops or whatever. But if you look at his numbers, there's not many strikers getting them goals in the Premiership.
Can I just rewind a little bit though? So I understand he wasn't super fit and he wasn't ready. But I'm sorry. Some of them Chelsea have nothing to do with that, bro. Like, I would have scored them in my current state. They would just have to hit much forward and go in. Please.
I think with Lukaku, everyone homes in on his negatives.
I remember
Like
I'm a Lukaku fan.
Yeah, I'm a Lukaku fan. He's touch and stuff, but there's other things that he does really well that doesn't get spoken about. Everyone just thinks about what he doesn't do well.
I hear that. But in this specific case, the World Cup and that game and those chances, I don't think anyone can defend him. I don't see how.
Should Chelsea keep him?
No.
I think they should.
I think they've replaced him already.
With who?
This?
They ain't got no one better than him.
With who?
Like they prefer Havertz to him.
Oh, no way.
But Havertz is still there.
But he's not better than Lukaku up front.
Yeah. I've got a rubbish answer.
I'm not saying he is.
Play to his strengths.
I was about to say to you, I've got a rubbish answer for you. It depends who their manager is.
Yeah.
I think if it's still Potter, then he will keep him. I mean, he kept Danny Welbeck in his starting 11 for however long. So, I think he could play to that. He liked. No.
Are you comparing Danny Welbeck to Romelu Lukaku?
No, but I'm saying
Welbeck
that
does a job at.
Potter. I think Potter appreciates man who does a job. So it wouldn't surprise me if he did the man management piece. Come back, you're a top striker. Blah 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 blah. If they change and they get some new age type Nagelsmann type dude, Lukaku's out of there. He's out of there because everyone's trying to do this false 9.6 and all this business.
I think for Lukaku's career, he shouldn't go back anyway. He should try and get a move.
To where though?
Somewhere else, isn't it? Or where he is, if they'll buy him, I don't know.
The thing is, like
they don't want him.
No, that's what I'm saying.
His wages are high.
They can't afford him. Yeah, a lot of people can't afford him.
That's contract he went to Chelsea on. Higher contract, man. Like.
Another problem you have is as well, you got to match the player's ambition. So in his head, I assume he still sees himself as a player of a certain level.
Champions League, innit?
Then there's a limited amount of clubs in that level. They're all at different stages with their strikers. I can't see someone, Juve maybe, but I doubt it, who meets his criteria of a club in Champions League and do whatever, and actually has a space, or I could even see them saying, let me bring in Lukaku on the wages at his age. No, I mean, he's 29. He's 30 in 2 months.
I can see Chelsea paying some of his wages wherever he goes. Because I'm sure Inter are not paying.
Just write it off. Lose
Second?
it. I'm saying just write it off, basically. Lose
No,
out.
do a loan and share the wages.
do a loan and say we'll pay 60% of his wages.
So yeah, just essentially writing it off. It's a loss.
Yeah, sometimes you need.
I think a club will be hard.
And buy a striker again.
That's why I think
they've got what's his name coming? Nkuku.
Does he play up front? Does he play on the wing?
He's a wide forward.
They'll play him up front.
To be fair, like what you said, sorry, depends who manages, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Nkuku's coming in.
Nkunku.
Apologies.
He's Jamaican.
my Caribbean friends are always butchering the names. But get the phonetics correct, please. 2023, yeah?
I think Chelsea make the most sense. Because to find another club for him on those wages at his age, I think it's going to be so hard.
And a club that he wants to go to.
Yeah.
There's clubs that will take him, right?
Yeah.
But are they, and obviously we don't know him, but you just think about how he's spoken about himself in the past, the level. I can't see a club that he would want to go to and any of those in the list that want him. I think Chelsea.
Do we think that's why Chelsea have not invested in an out-and-out striker then?
I don't think they're thinking that far ahead, to be honest.
No, but they
They
went
have
crazy.
8-year contracts. I think they're thinking pretty far ahead.
They went crazy and brought in a whole host of players, except an out-and-out number 9.
Was there one? Can you think of anyone who fits their criteria?
Osimhen.
Young?
Osimhen.
Yeah.
They could have
He's the
pushed the
guy.
ball
But
out.
He's
could
the
they?
guy for
Could
this
they
summer.
get
Him
him
and
at?
Chelsea.
I don't think they could have got him at Napoli in
No, I'm
January.
not saying
No.
then.
But
I'm
summer?
saying this summer,
No, this summer, yeah.
he's the top guy, innit?
Do you think he
Everyone's
definitely moves
gonna
this summer though? Like let's Napoli wrapped up Serie A.
Yeah.
They might win the Champions League.
Yeah.
Why would he not stay for another season?
Money.
Because his stock's high.
Done it.
Your stock's
Done it.
high.
Yeah.
Yeah, stock's high.
Have to move when your stock's high.
They're not perennial.
Strike
They're
while
not.
the
And he's winning.
Yeah.
He's won trophies
Yeah.
on top of that.
Yeah.
Now I can leave. I can actually
Yeah.
leave calm.
And go and collect the bag.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be honest. I don't want to see Chelsea with a settled team, with someone like Osimhen.
Nope.
And no Europe.
But
No.
even Man U, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
Coming for him. Man U.
Yeah, they need a
Yeah.
striker.
So for Man U, it's either him or Kane. Who else is
I
there?
think Kane. I think they want Kane.
Man United get Kane.
I think they want Kane.
Core blind.
So that for me is a massive question for him.
But they might play hardball. They've done it in the past, right? Koulibaly, every year, someone wanted to come and...
Not really worked out though, is it?
No, it hasn't worked out because he left too late. But all those years...
You think?
Yeah, I think he left too late.
I don't think he's good enough. I don't think it's a matter of him leaving too late.
Mate, it's been 8 months. Relax.
I think you can judge a
Who's
character-
been good enough at Chelsea this season? Sometimes it's a tie,
Thiago Silva.
Oh, yeah, he's on another planet.
like 10 years older than Koulibaly.
Yeah, true, fair.
I mean,
I'll give
let's
Koulibaly
be
another
honest,
season.
Granit Xhaka has only just started playing well.
Yo.
And he's been there how long?
Nah,
Where did that come from?
What we doing? Who did that?
I couldn't help it. I needed to try and throw something out
Let's
there.
just move
Sounds
on.
the
So
crowd unleashed.
that covers match day 1. If you look at match day 2, I can cover to some people's favourite person. Portugal. Portugal
Name
and
him.
Mr. Ronaldo.
Name him.
Before we get to him, yeah, can anyone here offer me any rationale as to how that gentleman got that job? How did he go from the Belgium job to the Portugal job?
I think
Crazy.
he's done.
Crazy.
Let's try and pretend we're at the Portuguese FA and he's our guy. Why? What?
So I think he done enough with Belgium to show that he can up the levels of a peripheral national team.
Yeah.
Like, but to be fair, before he got the job, I couldn't tell you last time Belgium got to a quarter-final, semi-final, done anything that like made any kind of waves on the international scene. So I think they're just looking at that, and it's hard to pick an international manager who's constantly won stuff who's not in a job.
Yeah.
So
I
I throw it back and say, who else
Yeah.
would you pick?
I feel like they want Mourinho.
You're not ready yet.
That's it.
Oh, he hasn't won it yet. He's not ready as in he doesn't want it, or he's not ready as in not good enough.
No, he doesn't.
Oh, no, he's good
I
enough.
think that job's his whenever he wants.
He
it.
wants
Whenever
he wants it to be his last job. He doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, once he's
Yeah.
done in club full. Just on Martinez, I think the job he done at Belgium is one of the worst managerial jobs in the last 10 years.
I
think it's
agree.
Absolutely,
Wow. I
awful.
agree.
Absolutely
I agree,
awful.
Okay, so where were Belgium before he took over?
He had a golden generation of players.
Bro,
That
You could have had
With
any
what
manager.
he had.
Yeah,
come on, man.
Okay.
he was terrible.
We're saying the golden generation.
Mm-hmm.
Alderweireld and Vertonghen
Yeah.
Solid.
were over 30s when he took over the job.
No, they weren't. No, they weren't. They would have been in their
Or-
20s.
Okay,
was
late 20s.
Prime.
Okay. Which is
Late-
prime age for
For centre back.
They will get to
Late-
Champions League finals, mate.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
I don't think they both started for Tottenham in that game, but we can circle back to that.
Yeah.
I think Vertonghen was at left
So
back.
they had, I'd say they had 5 top players.
Mm-hmm.
What about the rest of the squad?
Wait, hold on.
Wait,
They had a full team.
Hazard,
They had a full team of top
Lukaku.
players.
Hazard, Lukaku.
Vertonghen, Alderweireld, Courtois, Carrasco,
But how many of those? But how many of those?
KDB. I hadn't even named KDB, and I'm
But,
Yeah.
no, but how many of those are like?
Mooney,
How many,
yeah.
but no, but how many?
Mooney,
How many of those
Axel
would you say
Witsel.
the world class though?
All right, let me put it a different way. If you pick that generation's first 11, I would put money that actually 10 of those players would have got into the other top teams around them.
10 of those
Their
players.
team, that
10.
Belgium team is
Yeah.
better than England. Better than the team that Southgate's got. With the players
I
that they
can't
had.
believe I'm hearing this.
So you don't think that with the players he had, he failed in that tenure?
Not particularly, because you can have a golden generation, but if there are teams better
We
than
didn't
you,
even mention Company at the back.
Vincent Kompany was in his prime.
Yeah, in his prime.
no,
He was the captain.
prime.
Of course he was.
captain. No,
Bro,
he was.
He was
Martinez
licking
was
shots
like
from
job a
40
long
yards,
time,
top
you know.
bins. He was
Martinez was in that job.
He was
like
winning
7
leagues
years
on the
or
half
something.
volley.
Yeah.
at the end of the season.
I compare it to the England golden generation, yeah? If there are teams better than you, what can you do despite the players that you have? Like, just because you have a good club player doesn't mean you're guaranteed
But he
to
never
win.
made the most of the team.
How?
Because they were flaming out to
To Mark's point, it can't solely be on the manager.
It
If you've got all of that, you're saying there was 10, 11 world-class players. It can't solely be down to the manager.
Okay, maybe not world class.
But
Maybe
is
there
his
was
job
at
done?
least 3 world class.
He got Belgium to the number 1 ranked team in the world.
And did
How-
what with it?
What does that mean?
Question.
What does that
All right.
mean?
Question.
That means the levels are there to some capacity.
All right. Look at the German squad that won the World Cup. How many world class players were in there?
I've got to go back now. So
Obviously, Mesut. You got me.
Ozil at the time, you could say, yeah.
Muller.
Muller.
World class.
That one is polarizing.
Come
He is
on.
He is still. He is.
Okay.
I would call him world class.
He looks
I
like-
wouldn't- I wouldn't call him
He looks
world
like a
class.
tennis
I
player.
wouldn't-
He's
I
got-
wouldn't-
I wouldn't call him
No,
world
I
class.
wouldn't call it.
He looks
I
like
wouldn't- I
he
wouldn't
looks
call
like
him world
a
class.
geography teacher. That's probably
That's
why.
my
Yeah,
opinion.
I can't remember the whole squad, but
That's my
Neuer,
opinion.
I wouldn't put him world class.
Lahm.
No, he's world
Yeah.
class.
Yeah.
He's world class.
And you got to go at the time. What's his name? Goetze. He would have got into what team
No,
wouldn't he have got
he was
into at the
sub.
time?
He was sub.
He was such
Okay, but I'm saying
And a
what team
world
would
class
he not
player
have
on the
got?
bench, yeah?
and the fall off was
Pull up
nuts.
that squad.
Yeah, put up the squad. to
Listen,
Jay.
that squad.
Hummels was in there.
So you had I'm gonna name
Gundogan.
the big guys. You had Matt Hummels,
Mm.
Sammy Khedira was in there.
Jeez, at that
Schweinsteiger
time.
was there.
Come on.
Ozil was
Look
there.
at you're comparing Belgium to.
Okay.
Andre Schürrle,
No,
remember
but let me
him?
get. Yeah.
Yeah.
But his fall off was
Man.
nuts
Oh,
as
Lucas
well.
Podolski.
Woo.
But he wasn't world class though. I'm
No,
talking about.
no,
But I'm talking about because he said keep saying there was only arguably three world class players.
Tony
in-
Cruz,
all right?
world class.
Tony Cruz.
How many?
Do you want me to finish?
No, just
Alright.
looking at
All right,
roughly
cool. I'm
your
just
estimation.
gonna name the world class players. Yeah.
Just give me.
Well, now let's name them.
Okay.
All right, cool. Philip Lahm.
Can you name the whole start 11?
No.
No. Just Philip Lahm. I was gonna say one for Bats Metzaka, but let's not do that. So Philip Lahm,
Yeah.
Tony Cruz.
Yeah.
At the time, Jerome Boateng.
Yeah.
Come
yeah.
on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Don't let Messi sit in him
And
down.
he hasn't
Yes.
said
I'm
Neuer
not-
starting from the front.
Yep.
Muller, Thomas Muller.
Yeah.
Okay.
Closer was in that team.
Yeah.
Facts.
But he broke R9's record
At
at
the
that
time.
tournament. At that time.
Yes.
It's not
Yeah,
world
at the
class
time,
though.
yeah.
It ain't world
At the
class.
time.
To me,
Well,
world
at the
class
time.
is that you can go into any team in the world.
I
So
think
the, so the,
that's
so the
another
guy who's
conversation.
got the most, he's got the World Cup scoring record, he's not world class.
At that
In the
time,
World
at
Cup.
that time.
In the World Cup, and he's
Okay,
got
so
world
Mr.
class.
Closer.
He was about 30 something.
All right,
at that age, innit?
I'll
Yeah.
take closer out.
How we make
Yeah.
sense of
We're
that?
still on 4.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Ozil, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Schweinsteiger was on the way down them time,
There
innit?
you go.
But that's one out of how many?
Khedira.
I would say it was, yeah.
At that
Yeah,
time,
I'd
was
say
he
he
still
was.
popular?
Yeah, he
He
was.
was.
I'd
Real
say
Madrid?
it was.
Matt
Real
Hummels?
Madrid,
Yeah.
Nah.
Who could he have played for at the time?
No.
We're going back, what?
No, you're right.
2010?
You know. Nah, you're right. You know,
Matt Holmes could have played for
2014.
anyone's
24.
defense at that time, bro.
Where was he? At Dortmund at that time.
My
He was
point
at
is,
Dortmund.
He's at Dortment.
for the,
And then
for the,
Manuel Neuer. So yeah, they had more. They had.
I think
no,
for
no,
what
but
Belgium,
right,
but
let me-
Belgium,
let
I
me
think
go
for
to my
what
point.
what Belgium had, I don't think you can say he done a bad job.
let me
I
let
say
my
his only
point-
fault is that he never got to a final.
Okay, cool. All right. So Germany had arguably more, but they still had world class players, right?
Yeah.
The Argentina squad that recently won. They had a number of world-class players in there, right?
Not fair though.
They had a number of world-class players and arguably one
How
of
many
the
world-class
greatest.
players?
How many?
Di Maria.
Yeah, but you lot are talking about on the way down.
You think he's on the way down?
Di Maria?
Did you not see
Yeah,
Did you not see what he just did
From
for
his
Juventus?
level?
He's on the way
No.
down.
From Real Madrid, Di Maria.
But that Juventus in the Europa League, that ain't in the Champions League.
All right, cool. They had arguably the greatest player
One
in the world.
That's it though.
Yeah.
right?
One.
He's still worth how many players?
Doesn't matter. Okay, but still one.
He's
We have
still
to count
worth
him as
how
one.
many
Yeah.
players?
Yeah.
So we're gonna count.
All right,
three.
cool. Yeah, I'm a Messi fan. He's worth three. He's worth three, man.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, cool.
We are gonna get back to Portugal, but
Mm.
I'm here for this Martinez.
Right. Look, the point I'm trying to make is there have been teams that have won things that have had arguably world-class players in their squads, and whoever the manager is has taken to the precipice and won something. Martinez
You're
had
lucky I
a
ain't got a
squad.
soundboard. Precipice.
Oh my days.
Jesus Christ.
Blimey.
Let me focus.
Sorry.
Martinez had a squad that had, in my opinion, at least 6
Yeah, man.
top elite level players
Yeah, man. Yeah.
and didn't even
Easily.
sniff a final.
Bro.
Easily.
Even if you take it away from world class, he had, I would argue, had probably one of the higher concentration of top level players that the international managers had.
Easy. He had a full
No,
squad.
I
He
get
had,
that,
he had
but
top
you-
players everywhere.
But
Every
and
position.
also,
half of them were in their prime.
You've got to take into,
Every position.
You've got to take into consideration that Belgium have never been an elite footballing squad. So you've got to try and bring the first generation of winners across the line. That's not easy to do. All the teams you mentioned, Germany, Argentina, in recent times, they had won something. So they've got that kind of bloodline in them of saying, right, recent history, we've done this.
But
it's hard to be the
No, but
first
they're winners
person.
though.
Thank you.
Pardon?
But the players themselves are winners.
This is the point I was going to make.
The players
At club
themselves-
level, they're all winning things.
Yeah.
Not all of them.
Not all of
Most
them,
of them.
but
Most of them.
But
But enough
of
of the
them.
squad.
Most of them.
But enough of the
Yeah.
squad. Enough of the squad.
But what we just saying is
I think it's
international
different,
football.
I
and
don't
this
think
is
you just
Premier League.
lose that.
different.
I don't think you just
we're
lose
not
that.
saying that.
No,
Because you got an
you
international.
do, man.
lose-
International
you
levels
lose
are different
lose
breed.
everything, like,
All right, but
oh,
if we, I think we're not saying that he should have won the World Cup or he should have won the Euros. As we said earlier, there's an element
Only
of
one
luck.
team can win it, bro.
There's an element of circumstance.
Mhm.
But I don't understand how you can't see that he should have done better with that team. He should have done better with that team.
What, two semi-finals?
Who did they go out? Did they go out to Wales one time? He should have been
No.
sacked after that. He should have been sacked.
You're making
How
things
After
Robson,
that,
how
right.
Robson Kanu looked
Yeah.
like a world
He should
beater.
have sacked
That
after
goal
that.
was nuts.
He made
No,
how
but Belgium won that game.
he made
Did they win that?
Wales didn't knock them out. I'm sure
Who
they
knocked
did.
them out?
This is wicked.
This is
Well,
mad.
no, but what I'm saying is, like, going into this World Cup, no one thought Belgium were going to make waves.
That hates him.
because we're already used to it. Before the previous tournaments, it was always a thing of, are Belgium going to fulfill some of their potential this tournament? Are Belgium going to fulfill some of their potential?
They needed to win.
Yeah, no, I agree. Or at least get to a final.
Bro,
But-
there's levels
Yeah.
of world class here, and
Yeah.
it just might seem or be that Belgium's level of world class players weren't as good as
But
the
you know what I'm gonna
France's,
say to you,
Spain's,
though,
and
You know what I'm going to say to you,
I
innit?
don't. What are you gonna say?
Because if they had achieved something,
Yeah.
he gets the plaudits. So why doesn't he not get the criticism when they don't achieve it?
Spain had the same, well, not the same thing as Belgium, but they always had a dope
Yes,
squad.
yes,
Didn't win for how long until they got the serious, like, Iniesta, Xavi.
exactly. And
That
then
PR.
they got a manager that put the pieces together.
Mm.
Do you know what I'm saying? So it's not all his fault, but that period of his tenure come looked at success with the tools he had, in my opinion. Not for me, anyway.
Even with the recent World Cup, you said no one went into that World Cup thinking Belgium were going to win it. But I'm sure no one thought that Belgium would get knocked out in the group. That
No,
is
no,
poor.
no, of course
That is
not.
poor.
But that happens though. Germany won the World Cup and then got knocked out in the group stage like the next World Cup.
Yeah.
That
And
happens.
he was,
And
and
that's
he was
poor
a big,
as well.
and he
It's
was a big
big
scandal.
scandal.
Yeah, it was a big scandal.
Yeah, but what's his name? Kept his job though. Joachim Low.
But
kept
he
his
won
job.
the World Cup before.
But
That's why he
that's
kept
his
his job.
job.
He had credit in
They won it.
He had
They
credit in
won
the-
it.
he had credit in the
Yeah,
back.
that's the point.
Yeah, but
they won it.
no, but what I'm saying is though, with Martinez, he got to a World Cup semi-final. That's massive for Belgium. So you're saying, oh, Lowe got credit for winning it. Martinez is getting credit.
Is it though?
For Belgium.
It's
yeah.
Belgium.
Okay,
No,
so then-
no, you can't look at it
you
like that.
can't,
Hold on,
man.
one
You
at
gotta
a
look-
time,
You got to look at the nation, the nation's history
So what about you said about Gareth? He got to the semi-final of the World Cup. No one gave him that massive credit.
No, he said he did well.
No, he's got.
No, I said he's got credit. He's done well. He gets in big games. He's faltered.
All right, but Keith, but to add to that, then what about looking at from the perspective of the players he has to work with? Them?
Yeah,
so yes, in Belgium's history, monumental, but that crop of players they had.
But it doesn't mean it's always going to work.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It don't matter what team. It could be Scotland, could be Northern Ireland, bro. If they get a serious crop of players, you have to do something with them.
The expectations are rising. If week in, week out, your players are playing in top level teams, you're getting to Champions League finals, you're winning league titles, and then that crop of players are then coming together. There is an expectation that they now can carry that mentality, that performance, that vim onto the international stage and do something
and
with
if
it.
They had won,
and that's Martinez's job in order to bring them together, which is why he's judged so harshly because he wasn't able to.
And if they had won, the same way you're saying it'd be massive for Belgium, he would have been the first guy to bring a cup to the country, etc. So the same on this, and I know everything in life is not as simple as it's equal, but with the same vim that he would have been collecting his accolades, we have to look and say, actually, you didn't get the most for the toolbox that you had. I don't think that's unfair.
No, I'd agree to that point, but I can't say like you acting like he's been a monumental failure. Like I disagree. I can't agree with that. I think for where they were before he took over to what
monumental with a small M. Monumental with a small M.
Should he have won something? Should he have won something?
No one's guaranteed to win.
No, I'm saying, but should he have won something?
Not
necessarily, because you could say, England should have won something.
No,
Spain should have won. Spain should have won something. Spain should have won something.
Under Gareth Southgate, England should have won something.
They should.
What, by the talent? Not by the talent, I would say.
No, but if you look at
not by talent,
what happened in the Euros,
yeah,
they should have won
talent.
All right.
England's never gone into a tournament with the best squad in the tournament.
But a squad that could win.
Yeah, but there's 3 or 4 squads that could win.
No. But England went into their competition saying, "Oh, we could win the Euros." And then the way the draws happened and who we got, they said we should win it.
Yeah, true.
That's it.
Yeah, true. All right. As I'm not a big fan of his, but somehow I managed to get us to talk about him for ages. So back to Portugal. Couple of points that people have come up. One, should he have taken this opportunity to let Cristiano sail off into the sunset?
100%.
You're crazy. You? What do you think, Mark?
Yeah, I mean, you need a player like Ronaldo's. You need a player like Ronaldo in the camp, innit?
Wait, hold on. So, you're saying that you should have kept him?
You should have kept him, but it's just I don't think you should start him.
But where do you think you're gonna walk street in Portugal if you drop Cristiano Ronaldo? This is what I want to know.
Why is that a factor?
He's playing.
Because this is real life.
Here's a factor. Here's a factor.
He's playing in the Saudi Arabia League.
What difference does
that doesn't make any difference.
Doesn't make sense.
Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, Cristiano Ronaldo's London South East representative is here.
No, he scored loads.
No, I'm saying in these 2
games.
He
scored loads.
And they're playing tonight or yesterday they played?
No, they played yesterday.
Done, bro.
The thing, my reason is what Mark just said. You can't have Cristiano sitting on the bench.
Yes.
It's either he's out the squad,
or
he's starting, or he's the main man. So that's why.
And he's the captain.
But to counter that,
who else plays striker?
In the World Cup,
Ramos.
The one that scored in the World Cup.
Felix.
2 goals or whatever.
When he didn't start in the World Cup, their performances were better.
Exactly why they got rid of him. No, because
you're saying
I'm saying he should have been in the squad because when you're a new manager, you can do. The old manager couldn't do it, couldn't take him out. But because you're a fresh new manager, I think you maybe got away with it.
You know what I think's happened? Never. Where the World Cup was late.
I agree with you, but never.
And we're now in 2023. Essentially, the Euros is next year. I think if there was a clear 2-year cycle between the World Cup and the Euros, I don't think he would have been in the squad. I think because it's in 12 months? No, 14 months time. He's fit enough to be there.
Yeah.
The qualifiers, pretty much cannon fodder for Portugal. It's whether he starts at the Euros. Because they'll qualify. And I think that's the decision that Martin... Play him in the qualifiers. I don't think it hurts him.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's the impact, him being in the squad. Does he take Ramos's place.
Yeah,
so I think that's the issue.
So I think a couple of things. One, I think the previous manager helped him by dropping him in the World Cup because you don't have to be the first. It's not precedent. It's not precedent. Now someone's done it. They've set that precedent before. If it's a big game, you want to play the game a certain way, you can say, "Well, look, I've done it for the good of the team." But I don't think it's too elaborate to say Ronaldo was 1 or 2 caps away from breaking the record around international appearances. We all know Ronaldo loves a record. You weren't going to be the guy that goes to stop him. He's such an institution in that country. You don't start your new job. And Roberto Martinez is not stupid. He knows some of the doubts, some of the narrative around his previous job. You need Ronaldo on side, at least in the beginning.
But
right?
what has Ronaldo done wrong? Why, what is this about? Like, oh yeah.
No, I think people are feeling like, well, and all the conversation about how when he's playing, you lose some function at the team. You basically got to play around him. You got to play for him. My man dropped into the World Cup and Portugal's performances seem to have been better. I don't 100% subscribe to it because at the end of the day, goals win games. So if you not play worse when I play Ronaldo, will we score more goals?
There's something wrong with them.
Well, no, I'm not going that far. Relax. But I know you're saying. But I'm saying if the results more than often than not tends to be better, then maybe. But obviously, he's gone to Saudi Arabia. It's the quality of that league is much lower.
So people know the quality of him, how he takes care of himself.
Yes, yeah, true.
But don't you?
I want him starting in any league.
You want him starting
still
in the Euros, in a year and a half
over the Ramos
14 months time.
What's that guy done? I haven't heard of him since.
He plays for Benfica in the Champions League.
Yeah, and I haven't heard of him since.
Fair.
So you want Ronaldo starting?
Yeah,
you got your
Bangs
Ronaldo
goals.
blinkers
He
on.
just scored in both of the games.
I get Luxembourg and all that.
Doesn't matter. Just Kane's record, innit? That's gonna come. We'll talk about the Luxembourgs and all that.
But they improved once in the World Cup. Once Ronaldo was on the bench,
really,
they started scoring more goals. Yeah,
I've never seen Felix look so free in my life.
No, listen. We're not pros, innit?
Yeah.
But me playing football, I want Ronaldo on the pitch. I'll do the work. I don't mind running a bit more. I don't mind if he's bagging goals every single thing, every single game.
I don't think you know what? I don't think he gets that love in the Portugal team.
Yeah, I don't think Bruno Fernandes is thinking like that. You see in the World Cup, yeah,
them man were running into the ground for Messi. They were like, we're not leaving here without the World Cup for Messi. I don't think no one in the Portugal squad feels that like that about Ronaldo.
But isn't that partly something the manager has seen still?
Not really, because why are you building your team around a 36-year-old?
He's right. He's right.
He's 37, 30.
What do you mean you
38?
don't want to run for who like Ronaldo? It's not about Ronaldo. It's about Portugal.
Yeah.
So if you haven't got that in you to do it anyway,
I was about to say that is one place where we've seen it work. Listen, I'm Messi's biggest fan, but I'm not gonna lie. The amount of walking he did, obviously he's playing smart, etc. But that team did all of his water carrying, everything. So we can see it work. But I guess the other problem is I think the other players in the Portugal team are probably a slightly higher level than some of those Argentina players, right? Yeah, so you've got 100%. Players who are building careers in their own right. So they'll come with their own ideas, their own, I don't want to say egos in a negative sense, but obviously what they feel they can bring to the team. I can't be Bruno Fernandes and be a main player at Man United, and then when I come here, you're basically telling me to do bleep tests for my man. Do you know what I mean? Or I'm, forgotten the guy's name that plays on the wing for AC Milan.
Rafael Leao. Brilliant player.
Doing my thing in the CL, I'm doing okay. And then I come here and it's like, yeah, thanks, buddy. But today, you will run and then give the ball to another.
So you're playing for your national team, bro.
No,
but you're playing for your national team, not Ronaldo.
Yeah.
No, but what I'm saying is if I'm Leao or Felix or Bernardo Silva or Fernandes, I'm working my socks off, bro. Yeah. And I'm thinking I've got the guy, the main guy that's gonna finish up everything I give him.
He's not the guy no more.
That's the thing.
He used to be the guy. He used to be the guy.
He's not the guy
because
anymore.
he's going to be 38 when the Euros come around. He's going to be 38 years old. So, what do you think he's going to be doing in?
I can't believe I'm here sitting there defending Cristiano.
What if he carries on scoring?
Yeah. What, for El Nasser?
No, for Portugal.
For Portugal.
Against Luxembourg and
doesn't matter.
Okay, hypothetically, they play some of the better ranked teams. and he continues to score, what then?
You have to pick him.
But he stopped already.
I think
he stopped. You
I
can
think
see the
he-
World Cup.
I-
We
no,
said the World Cup.
Just
He
the
wasn't.
half shows that just forget it. You don't want to
I
pick
tell you
him.
what,
No,
though.
but I think it gets to a
We showed
point.
the World Cup.
I think it's getting to a point where it's an ego thing. Like John said, he'd want to have the record. He wants records. I think he'll be more detrimental to the Portugal team going forward if you keep him in. Like, okay, granted, he gets to the Euro cycle. Euros comes now and he goes, you know what? I'm feeling all right. You know, I might do this till I'm 40.
World
What
Cup.
happens then?
I tell you
No,
what.
but then it's a decision for the manager, innit? But what I'm saying is, I just think he's scoring goals, bruv. What more do you want?
I do
What do
think
you want from him?
I do too. I want to pick up on a point you made earlier about we're not pro football. I think one day we're gonna get a pro football in there because I do want to ask him and say, well, look, in my simple head outside, bruv, if I'm Roberto Martinez, I want to win something. I'm saying to all of you guys, listen, it's not ideal, but it's 14 months. Let's make this team work and put the best finisher in the team. Hear me out. Put the best finisher in the team. At the end of the day, if I put him in front of goal 10 times and the rest of you lot, he's going to score more than you. Right? How fantastical is that idea I just said? I don't know, right? I've never been in those environments.
No, it makes sense.
But and I promise you, he's gone. He'll be gone. Then we use it as a springboard for the World Cup. I'll bring in youngsters, blah, blah, blah. But you, man, come on.
But
Let's
why don't you do that now?
Martinez
walked in there
Exactly.
the other day and said, you know what? Ronaldo's out. Bruno Fernandes, Joe Felix, whatever. I believe you guys are the guys now.
Yeah.
You're taking the mantle.
Yeah.
Now, imagine how they would feel.
Okay.
He believes in me.
To be honest,
they're still in
he's
the
not allowed to
team.
make that decision. Ronaldo leaves Portugal
Bro,
when
that's
he
what I'm saying.
leaves.
But
That's what I'm saying.
These
That's what I'm saying.
players that we're
It could-
mentioning
it
are
could
in the
backfire.
team anyway.
Yeah. But it's about the way they play. But I think he's right. You got the same way Messi is Messi in Argentina. That's how
Ronaldo is.
Cristiano is in Portugal.
Lazier player.
Yeah. Okay, but let me ask you to a different question then. Yeah. I'm not. I didn't even hear that. I didn't even hear that. We're not even do that today. If Roberto Martinez does not pick Cristiano Ronaldo, does he reduce their chance of success in the next tournament cycle?
I think so. Why
No,
would we?
I
How
think-
can you say no though? This is Ronaldo we're talking about.
You don't
I
think
think
he
say no.
reduces their chance of success?
The disrespect is
No,
real,
It's
bro.
not,
It's
but it's
bad
not
still.
like
disrespect,
based on the
bro.
World Cup. You can't say Ronaldo carries that team anymore.
Based on his
I didn't say
career,
carries. I just
based
said
on
no,
his
I'm talking,
career,
I'm talking to my
based on
gentleman
his
to my
career,
right.
you
Do you
can
know
say
what?
that.
Do you know what? Yeah, I feel like there was so much going on around Ronaldo at that time.
And who calls that?
Like with Man United.
Him, but
that's
I'm
the thing.
saying, just everything that happened, yeah, contributed to him like just not having a great. Yeah, but
Oh, so
he
Lukaku
shows
can't
up,
be
though.
injured,
He
but
shows-
Ronaldo can get
no,
out
I
of
didn't
life.
say nothing.
It was me, I said that.
I didn't say nothing about Lukaku. I think he wasn't fit either. But I'm saying, bruv, the numbers speak for itself, man, and he's still doing it. He just got picked. He scored in both goals.
I think
games.
what-
What do you want? Like,
I think as we go through, I think people are going to see the running theme here of the Messi versus Ronaldo across the pod. But yeah, let's leave that there. I'll just do a very, very quick run through. So looking at the groups, all the people you'll expect at the top. Spain, the top of Group A with Scotland. France, the top of Group B with Greece. I was going to throw the Greece thing in there. We'll talk about Roberto Martinez being a manager, but it would just been a flippant Twitter type. Fun. So Group C, England and Italy at the top. Group D, Turkey and Wales at the top. Croatia third. I mean, they've only played one game. They got match day 2 to come. And then we've got Czech Republic and Poland at the top of their group. It's easy. Austria and Belgium. Austria top, Belgium second. So maybe put people right. Serbia, Hungary group, top of Group G. And then Slovenia, Denmark, top of Group H. We're in Norway. Anyway, we'll talk about Mr. Haaland another time.
Sorry, no. Did you see Odegaard's the tackle he received from
Rodri.
Was it
Yeah,
Rodri?
sorry.
That was
Disgusting.
yeah, that was.
you know what they're trying to do.
That
innit?
was
Yeah.
And ref
Yeah.
didn't give a
That was
pen or
dirty.
anything.
No
No penalty.
But I hate it. I slightly
No, that
respect
was
him, but I don't
dirty.
like him. Obviously, he's our player. But I see what he's trying to do. He's trying to get some brownie points.
Didn't even
I
get
think
a
they're
pen,
playing.
that
I think they're playing Scotland tomorrow, so they've given Tony some instructions to get Rodri back.
We've
hope.
got Switzerland and Romania top of Group I, and then Portugal and Slovakia top of Group J. Yeah, as we say, I think everything's shaking out as you would expect from most of this group. No surprises. With a couple of games done. Okay, enough about that. We've got some talking points from the week. Okay, let me start with with the Harry Kane scoring record piece, right? So Harry Kane became England's record scorer, right? And it leads us back to this thing about if he does not win, there's two questions here, right? Harry Kane's world-class status, which I can't believe is in doubt, number one. And number two, if he does not win a major recognised trophy, does that sully his career in any way, shape or form? T, I'm coming to you first.
Harry Kane is world-class.
I agree.
He's not elite.
Ooh.
That's it.
How are you world-class?
Wait,
what's the difference?
No,
Can you
elite,
explain the difference to us?
I understand what you said.
Elite players are winners. They win stuff.
Okay, I understood. Yeah.
I understand what you said.
Elite is elite, innit?
Mm.
There's a lot of world-class players.
Yeah, true.
Elite,
but there's a table of the best of the creme de la creme.
The picture that I sent in to the group yesterday or today, I can't remember. They're elite.
Yeah.
They win.
Yeah.
That's it. It's just fact.
What does he have to do?
Mourinho is elite. He wins.
Yeah.
What does he have to do to become elite?
Win something.
But
it's a team sport. It's a team sport.
But I don't care. What do you mean? He's at Spurs. What does that mean?
So
Ain't they been to finals?
For him to become elite,
they in the FA Cup, the League Cup, the
it's not that
Premiership?
straightforward.
Champions League.
It's not that straightforward.
They went to a Champions League
It's not that
final.
straightforward.
They're in competitions to win.
It's not that straightforward. It's
Well,
not that
look,
straightforward.
I agree with Mark in the sense that it's not straightforward, and I agree with Daz in the sense that it's a team game. Yes, it's hard to solely pin his lack of trophies on him. However, there are moments, i.e. the Champions League final, where big players like him are required to have big performances that can turn the game. You only need to look at Drogba for Chelsea against Bayern Munich. Big performance. Arguably responsible for them winning the trophy.
But it's still a team game.
Right.
His team turned up.
No, it is.
for him.
But without his contributions, the header, the goal from his header, and then obviously the winning penalty. Those are moments that make you elite.
Separate yourself.
That separate you from the fodder. If you understand what I'm saying. So
and to Isaac's point, it's not a new thing. His record in semi-finals and finals isn't great. He's not great.
Weren't we saying that about Thierry Henry?
Not great at all.
But it's not his record though. It's Tottenham's record. It's not his record.
No, but even if you look at our big games, right, where the elite players, we expect them to shine, right? Mm-hmm. He hasn't performed there. I do think it is slightly superficial, but at the end of the day, for me, it's a combination of two things, right? He has to go and win a major trophy where him being Harry Kane and his level has contributed to that trophy. Do you understand? Even if he went to Man United next season, yeah, for argument's sake, played 10 games, scored 3 goals, got injured, and then got a Premier League at the end of the season, in 10 years' time when he's on Sky, they'll put Premier League winner. But the people who watch the game will still be like, still wasn't. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's not as arbitrary as it sounds, but we're all thinking if he goes to a top level team, he's going to score. He's Harry Kane. Mm-hmm. So we want to just say, no, he should just go somewhere, not do anything and pick up a medal. We're saying he should go and do Harry Kane somewhere where it's going to lead to an achievement. Mm-hmm. And that goes back to the conversation me and you had in WhatsApp, where I'm saying, for me, the decisions he has or hasn't made about his career and where to go, they're now manifesting right in front of him, right?
He's not a winner.
That mentality, he took a bet and he stopped paying off. He wanted to be the guy. Because if he wins a trophy at Tottenham, they will name
elite status.
They will name the tube station after him.
Gets a statue, all of that.
All of that.
England captain, record scorer. It will basically be like, see the status Rooney got at Man United. He does that at Tottenham and then brings him the first trophy for however long. But I think that bet hasn't paid off.
Yeah, I think the only thing Kane can be faulted on is not leaving Tottenham sooner. I
agree.
I think his goal numbers stack up. I know T's saying that he's not elite because he hasn't won a trophy. That doesn't sit with me. I think you're an elite player regardless of what you win.
Okay, so just to tell you that point quickly then. So if he retires tomorrow, you're sitting him because his numbers will put him in the creme de la creme of strikers. Mm-hmm. So when we're having these kind of conversations, you're going to put him in them brackets, the R9s and you're going to put him in those brackets.
I'm putting him in those brackets because he's doing it at Tottenham. Like,
Doing what at Tottenham? Just scoring. That's it.
But that's his job.
That's his job.
I understand everyone wants to win trophies and
See him in the game.
you want to kind of show your medals off to your grandkids when you're in a wheelchair, etc.
No, but
right here, right now, you can't say that he's not comparable to the best strikers of his generation. You can't say, because he hasn't won X, Y, Z.
No, of his generation, he can be comparable. But we're talking about the elite. So this transcends generations. We're still going to be talking about R9 and Shearer and certain players in generation time because they were, to Ross' point, they were the elite. They set the bar so high, there's only one or two every generation.
Okay, so my point is, the only difference between Harry Kane and Alan Shearer is that one Prem trophy. You can't say he's not elite because he doesn't have that.
Wait, hold on. There's two things here. Let's not minimize it. Alan Shearer is the record goal scorer by some long man in the Premier League and won the Premier League.
Kane's going to beat that though.
Okay.
Kane's going to beat that record.
Blackburn.
Okay, the Blackburn
they were top team.
They were top team.
They were top team.
They had all the money. That was Man City. That was Man City.
They were a top team.
They had a cash injection.
Newcastle were a relatively top team. They were say around what Spurs are now.
Yeah.
And I would say that Harry Kane is doing it at a harder time than what Alan Shearer did.
But keep to your point.
Levels of professional footballers have increased tenfold
True.
since Alan Shearer broke that record.
But to your point, let's not pretend like the Alan Shearer narrative. People still talk about the fact that he didn't win that much. People still talk about that. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No, you can talk about him not winning, but I don't think you can say he's not elite because he didn't win a trophy. Because I think I know you can and you will. But I think it's weird.
It's a struggle for me.
And I know people. I will say if he played for a better team, he would have won trophy. You never know.
Where do you stand on the conversation? Not to stray too far from the Kane, but where do you stand on the conversation about Messi and the World Cup?
That's a great question.
Still the greatest if he didn't win the World Cup 2 months ago.
Exactly.
But now
still the best.
Still the greatest before. But now he has.
Before December.
But now he has. It's elevated him further.
So it's winning elevates.
Yeah, he backed you up still.
Yeah.
How did you walk into that?
Mark, scissors. I think that's another scissors. Ladies and gentlemen,
2 weeks in a row.
we got him.
We got him.
We got him.
We got him.
Because I think I personally I find it hard to reconcile. For example, Andy Cole, yeah? Before he went to Man United, his goal record was a joke. Absolute joke. Right? But I don't think if he had continued that goal scoring record, yeah, I don't think we're talking about Andy Cole in the same breath we do now. If he didn't do it at a club where he slapped Prem, where they banged up the CL, we might be saying he scored lots of goals, but we're not talking about him in the same line. We're not.
Can I just come in there? Because I'm of the view that Kane is world class and he is elite. Because I see it as a team sport, individual. Someone like Andy Cole, for me, Andy Cole and Harry Kane, they're not in the same bracket as a footballer. Yeah,
Andy
one's
Cole
one and Harry Kane.
No, they're not. Harry Kane's a better player.
Yeah, way better player.
Yeah.
So I'm going to remember him as a way better player. But Andy Cole's won these medals. I'm not saying medals don't mean nothing.
Yeah.
What I'm saying, the Messi example is a great one. For me, he's the best player ever.
Yep.
Before he won that World Cup in December.
I agree.
True.
So there's too many variables. Because it's team sport, I think you can't just say you ain't won this. Everything you've done, we're minimizing that because he didn't win. Because he didn't win something at the end of it.
No, but I don't think people are saying that though.
No, I don't. It's not a case of minimizing his achievements because his achievements are out of this world. You cannot. He's on par with the greatest.
Even his Champions League record's a joke.
Exactly in terms of scoring.
Yeah.
However, there is a level of player above that you can't put him in because they've done it. They've reached the stage. Yes, okay, they were fortunate enough to be in teams. Not everyone, because there are players that have dragged their team to the title, to winning something. There are players that have done that. But you can't put him in that level because those players have, like I said, fortunate enough to get to the point and then also executed in the moments when it mattered. He hasn't done that.
And also, to add to that as well, mate, I think what's not talked about enough in these decisions in these conversations are the decisions you make in your career are also things that you can be judged for. Well, how many times has Shearer told us, Alex called him and he could have gone to Man United and he didn't? He keeps telling us because people keep reminding him that for someone who scored as many goals as he did,
would have won
and with his talent, he didn't win enough. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I think, and then whenever we look at greats and they do documentaries and stuff like that, they always, if you think about it, that those narratives always hinge on the important decision points. You know what? Those kind of sliding doors moments. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
the crossroads moment.
So my actual, and again, it's always with a limited amount of knowledge, but from what we can gather, I'll be honest, I think my biggest criticism of Harry Kane is that you didn't take the risks, and so now you're not getting the reward.
But I feel like one of the reasons he wanted to be Tottenham's greatest ever goal scorer, so he didn't want to give that up. That was one of the reasons why he stayed.
Yeah,
I agree with you. He could have left.
Yeah,
and maybe should have left. But
I think that's the price he's paying.
At the same time, I can't say that I'm rating him less because of that.
Yeah, no, I don't think less.
I don't think we're rating
He's
him
just
less.
not elite.
We're just not putting him in that
But,
bracket.
okay.
He's just not elite.
Okay, but going back to what John said earlier, if he goes to Man United next season, scores 10 Premiership goals, win the league, are you saying he's elite?
Yeah, because of what he's done.
But I don't get that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get that.
You've got to win something.
I don't get that.
That's
I don't
confusing to me.
I don't
Because he's a guy who consistently scoring 18 plus Premier League goals a season, and you're saying, right, don't score as much, but the team you're in wins the league.
He's doing it.
He's doing it
in a hard league. It's hard to score.
He doesn't score 10 goals, but you know his style of play. He drops into the middle in this false nine role.
Okay.
So hold on. He doesn't score 10 goals, but his contribution is dropping in, disrupting the play, and allowing the players around him to score goals. So therefore, they go on to win the title.
So keep before you answer. Sorry, let me just build on that point. Yeah. So let's take it away from just numbers. Let's make it a qualitative point, right? So, bit like RVP. This is slightly traumatic for me to talk about. But okay, fine. Right? So, regardless if he goes there and scores 4 goals or 40, if he's the piece that they needed to get to that achievement, then you will class him as elite because actually he was what they needed to get that prize. He was what they needed. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I understand what you mean as in if he goes there and does less than he's been doing, but I think it's a little bit wider than that. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes you can go and be the missing piece. You can go and be that extra quality they needed. He might go there and score 10 goals and do 15 assists. And if we look at those assists, they were key, they were clutch moments. Do you understand what I'm saying? And also, when you hear pros talk, they always say it's not the same, right? Playing as Tottenham and playing all these games and going to these games as Man United or as Man City, it's 2 different things. It's not the same. Right?
Yeah, I would say agree. Like it's a step up in class wherever he goes. I think if he leaves Tottenham, it has to be a step up in class. But I think he's got enough credit in the bank at Tottenham for what he's done to get the elite tag. And if he does move and wins a trophy, I don't think his elite status should be hinged on that trophy.
Would Modric still be elite if he stayed at Tottenham and won nothing?
Yeah, because he's a great player.
No, he ain't. He ain't elite, bro.
Why?
He's gone to Real Madrid and shown.
Yeah, but
he's taken a step up and still executed his talent at that additional level. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I get that.
We're not talking about Modric in the same way we talk about him now if he stayed at Tottenham.
You don't know that. Because there are many players who...
All right, let me expand that then.
I don't just because this person has turned out to be a bit of a person I don't really like in a minute. But Matt Letizia, you can say he's an elite player. He spent his whole
He's not an elite player to me.
How?
But
okay, I'm older than a lot of you.
What about someone, if you look at the Premier League, what about someone like Steven Gerrard?
Yeah.
Didn't win a Premiership. I'll look at the Premier League and say he's still one of the best midfielders.
I'll say he's elite. I'll say he's elite.
He never won the Premier League.
I'll remember.
You know what? We're still calling him elite, ain't we?
No, but I remember that Istanbul, mate. Istanbul makes him elite. That is a guy you can see that
FA Cup final
game,
the year later.
the FA Cup final.
If we're talking Premier only, then
no, we're not talking Premier only.
No, it's a player.
I said major trophy.
I said major.
That's the difference between an elite player and just a guy that scores every week and he's got all the numbers and whatever. That there, what he done in Istanbul,
bro. The FA Cup
when he
final.
went right back, bro.
So why wasn't he doing this
When
in the
he-
Premiership then? Why didn't he do it in the Premiership then?
No,
he
tried.
just did it. He tried,
Come
but
on,
it
it's
never
not
happened.
Yeah, but
It never happened.
No,
Easy.
it's a cup competition. Anyone can come out with the maddest thing at them at
Bro,
any moment.
We
You know,
didn't
as
win the
Arsenal
Champions
fans,
those are
League.
the
We
moments
didn't
you're
win the
judged
Champions
on.
League.
Be careful
We
with
didn't
that
win the
Champions
Champions
League.
League when we had Henry.
So and look,
Same
look,
thing, innit?
and I think Steven Gerrard's a good parallel because even to this day, his mentality. You know, I think Gary never asked him on that, or Carragher, one of them asked him. Said, "Would you swap it for the Prem?" He said, "Yes, any day," because he wanted it. So for me, that is a guy who he took a bet and it paid off, right? In the sense because he didn't go to Chelsea, but he can still show his FA Cup medal. I think he's got
Champions
everything but the Prem.
Yeah.
He's got everything but the Prem, right?
But if he went Chelsea, he'd probably have the Prem.
True, but
One more medal.
If Harry Kane had a couple of FA Cups, and he is where he is now, and then he breaks Alan Shearer's record, I think it's a slightly different conversation. For him to end absolutely trophyless,
It's
come
poor.
on, bro.
It's poor.
There's
You
one
can't
other-
even
no,
get a
it's
League
poor.
Cup. bro.
Can I bring one other comparison?
Go on.
It's another sport. It's
Yeah.
basketball. It's Kevin Durant. For years and years and years, he got battered with the stick.
Yeah.
You ain't won nothing. You're not the greatest. So what did he do? He goes to Golden State. They've really won the title. They don't need him. You made the point about missing piece. They won before him. They won after him. But he's gone there and won 2 championships now.
But if you speak to them, if you speak to Golden State, they will tell you people figured them out. If they didn't get him at that time, they weren't going to win the rest of
But
the ones
if
that
you
they
talk
did.
to him,
Yeah.
those championships didn't mean much to him. He said, I didn't feel any different afterwards because I've
think
just
that's
gone there
different,
just
though.
to
Yeah,
win.
I think
that's different.
Kane,
Basketball's
I
different.
think Kane wants to win a trophy,
Yeah,
but
and also,
I'm just,
Kevin Durant has the luxury of saying that after he's won it, innit? That's my point. Yeah, you got to win it to have that view and understand
it's
that
nice
it
to
doesn't
win
mean nothing.
trophies,
Yeah.
but I think if he retires breaking the Premiership goal scoring record, which if he stays in the country, if stays in the Prem, I think he will. It's not the best, but that's
bro.
not an easy achievement.
Let me be clear. If Harry Kane finishes his career as the highest goal scorer ever
For
England and in the Prem,
League, that's not
and
a
Tottenham,
bad career.
he's not going to cry himself to sleep at night.
It's not a bad career.
However,
You're going to take... Sorry, go on.
at that level, those guys, they want to win, bro. So I think
do.
even the fact that this debate will even be possible to be had is I think it's sad for someone of that talent and someone who had that much output so consistently over a long period
Remember
of
what
time.
we're saying?
And-
when nothing, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
League
and
Cup,
these are
FA
records.
Cup.
These are records that can be broken, and your name no longer. You can
I
no longer.
think if Kane gets the Prem record, no one's breaking it.
which is fine, but these are records that can be broken, and your name can be removed from the history books.
Can I
Right?
say... Can I...
Let me just
Go on.
land this point. Winning something, they can never remove that from you.
Facts.
Yeah, no, I get it.
They
but
can
I
never
I
remove
just
that.
don't
You're in the
think-
history book.
But
There's-
he's
I
had a
don't think
better
you're
career
elite
than
state.
people that have won stuff.
Mm,
He has. What-
Is that a
he's
better
had-
career? Is that a better career than
He's
two
had
people?
better
All
than-
right.
yeah,
Is that
the
a
people that have
better
won stuff? Yeah.
individual
The
career?
most people that have
yeah.
won
But
stuff.
we're talking
But
about-
it all goes back to people say, would you take Vardy's career or Harry Kane's?
I would
Everyone
take
said
Harry
Vardy.
Kane's.
What?
You're going
Over
crazy,
over
bro.
Vardy?
You're going mad. bro.
Would you?
Nah, you had me till then,
No,
bro.
wait. I don't think it's as bad as it sounds.
Yeah.
Of
course
I
it
don't-
is.
I don't think
He's
it's
banged
bad.
goals. Look, you're a
Harry Kane's.
striker. Vardy bangs goals. He's
I
calm.
would take Harry
He's been
Kane's
banging
career
goals
all
his
day.
whole career, and he's won the Prem, and he's won the thingy,
Prem, FA Cup,
FA
Bro.
Cup.
come from non-league.
What is that? Non-league, and you've been banging goals.
Harry Kane
I'm
is
taking
a,
Vardy.
Harry Kane is a
the
national.
I'm a Harry Kane. I'm a Harry Kane.
I'm a
Premier
legend
League.
at
No, no.
Leicester. Legend.
I would take Vardy's career
Forever.
but I don't think it's
Statue.
mad what you're saying.
I would take
I don't think
Kane's.
it's mad. I would take Vardy's, but I don't think what you're saying is mad.
I think
It is mad.
Kane's got to do too much.
Because
to
all
pick
that
Kane
is
over Vardy.
scoring goals.
Yeah,
And
but
that's a lot.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
it's a lot. But what we're talking about is elite, though.
Yeah.
So I'm not just saying it
Yeah.
just for like what.
Daz, you know the best
you
way I
don't
can
do
explain
nothing.
it?
Imagine to be the top goal scorer of your nation ever. For
That
me,
could
that's
go.
that's
Like what Isaac
huge.
said, though, that
That's
can go.
huge.
What if
Velocity,
Haaland? What if
yeah.
Haaland stayed at
That's
Man City
huge.
for to the end of his
That's
career?
huge.
Yeah.
You're telling me he can't break Harry Kane's
Yeah, but he won't,
Premier
man.
League? No,
He
I'm
won't.
just saying. Do you
What-
think he can't?
What if then?
Yeah.
No, yeah,
It's a
it could be.
possibility.
But
Yeah.
I
It
think,
is an actual
I think
possibility.
if Kane breaks, like Shearer's record, when did Shearer retire? Like 10 odd years ago?
It might
Like,
even be a little bit longer. Yeah.
a little longer than that.
yeah,
But
like,
yeah, you can have it for at least 10 years.
So look,
So,
the best
what
way-
are you going to say, John?
the best way I can summarize is that for me, for someone like I said of his talent, that he did what you're supposed to do. Produce at a high level consistently for a long period of time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what pros, he's the embodiment of what you're supposed to be a top pro, right?
Mm-hmm.
So to be talking about someone like that, and he hasn't got the ultimate thing that we're in professional sport for, I say we, that they're in professional sport for, which is to win the competitions that they enter, I just think it's sad. It will be
it would be.
unfulfilling. Yeah. It will be an unfulfilled thing. That's all. We're not rubbishing him. We're not saying that. Like, I just think it will be sad.
Would you feel very bad? Even Arsenal, when we was in the mud, bro, we still FA Cups. But look at the teams, look at the players that we had. Still had a day out in Wembley. Bro,
they had a couple of days out.
Terrible.
It's the way it's poured out.
So what, if he picked up a League Cup next season, is everyone gonna say, "Will you feel any different about him?" I wouldn't. What difference was it gonna make?
What did I say earlier?
Not for the numbers.
Shearer's got a Prem medal, and the conversation still comes round like every couple of years. So I think no matter what happens now, he's still gonna pay. He's still gonna pay the price of not taking those risks. Because even if he wins one Prem now, he's still gonna be like,
all right. But to that point, even that conversation even comes up with the players like Messi. The people were saying for Messi to be considered in the pantheons of like Maradona, Ronaldo, Pele, he needed the World Cup, right? So why is Shearer no different? Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Why he won the Premiership? And I think the reason why people keep bringing that up for him, because he was such a big name, such a big player, such a big talent. A player like him, although nothing is guaranteed or nothing is deserved, but certain players, you kind of want them to
have
win,
more to show for it.
To have more to show for it.
Because we know if you go there and do what you've been doing, it's a joke.
So that's why they look at players like Messi, they look at players like Kane, Shearer, whoever else it may be that's in that bracket of, we feel like you should have won more. They go, well, you're a player of that caliber, so we kind of feel you should have.
He's had opportunities as well. He's had opportunities in the league when Leicester won it. He had opportunity in the Champions League final.
Played the League Cup final too.
League Cup final.
It's a bit like the Pep thing. I think it's ridiculous, but Pep knows, or he said himself, he has to win the Champions League with City for him to be left alone, be exalted. And I think it's bonkers. He had probably one of the best, he cultivated one of the best club teams football will ever see. And now we're still doubting him. But that's just the way the game goes. Even he said it himself.
No, I agree with that.
Yeah.
But then
I agree with what Pep said. Yeah.
Look at the Pep versus Mourinho thing.
I'm just looking at the clock. Let's move on to a couple of bits. I think we'll spend too long on this, but there's an interesting thing around the French captaincy. So Mbappe. There was Mbappe, Antoine Griezmann. Again, if you listen to the people in the know in France, Antoine Griezmann thought it was basically nailed on for him. He's landed last week, and Mbappe is the new captain. There's been a little bit of debate. Some people were saying Griezmann was so upset he might even retire from international football. Like anything, you could probably see both sides, but what are you guys' viewpoints? Do you think Deschamps did the right thing? Do you think there was a...
I think there's an echo of the Ronaldo situation here in the sense that Mbappe is so big and he's such a star for the French team and he's playing week in, week out on the highest level. Don't get me wrong, Griezmann's been there, done that, and he's still playing at a high level. But, I mean, I'm not mad at the fact that Deschamps has just gone, do you know what? Mbappe, he's the figurehead. He's seen as the de facto
How old is Griezmann?
Frontman.
33.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
How old is Mbappe? 24? He's got 4 or 5 more tournaments in him.
Mbappe produces as well.
Yeah, you got the if you had Griezmann for this cycle, you'd have to change someone. So give it to Mbappe, and he's your captain for the next 10 years.
Yeah. So what do you say about the argument that Griezmann is one of the on and off the pitch, one of the leaders, one of the elder statesmen. He could help guide the team through. And actually, you can always give it to Mbappe later. You can't give it to Griezmann later.
That's fine, but something similar to that is, who's the Arsenal captain?
Odegaard.
Looking at the documentary, who looked like the captain?
Xhaka.
Xhaka would still be the captain if he did have his meltdown, but gone.
And the thing, I think it's the age thing.
Yeah.
Griezmann, how long is he going to be guaranteed a starting spot? maybe in 2 years' time, Griezmann ain't starting no more. Yeah. So you don't want to keep changing it. Kylian Mbappe, he's in that squad for the next.
He's starting every game.
Until he said he's not. Basically.
Basically. So I think it makes more sense from a playing point of view.
I think this is a clash of old school thinking. I'm the elder statesman here. Yeah. I've been here for how long? Yeah. There was Hugo. Now it's me. Then I'll pass it down to him. Rather than actually now, we're at a time in the game where, if you're good enough, you're old enough, which happened before, but now you can be on the moon in terms of status if you're at the level with certain Neymar. Now we've seen it with Mbappe. So, and if you want to look at it from a self, and I'm not saying Deschamps did this, but if I'm Deschamps, someone made this point earlier. I said, well, who can I afford to upset? Griezmann or Mbappe?
There you go.
It's Griezmann. You can be upset if you want, bro. Retire, innit?
And to be fair, Deschamps got a record of he'll make the hard calls, innit? Left out Benzema, etc. He doesn't mind ruffling feathers. So
that's true. So basically, get over it.
Pretty much.
Yeah, 100.
Fair enough. All right, cool. So a couple of retirements last week. Couple of Arsenal, ex-Arsenal players, amongst other clubs, but I'm an Arsenal man, I'm going to mention that. Let's start with I don't want to say lesser of the two, but Emmanuel Adebayor. Some thoughts on him. Exactly, you think of him, it just brings a smile in. The guy was bad.
What's the meme? I'm just a baby boy.
Baby boy.
That's how to live my life.
That's how to live my life. It's baby boy. I mean, and this is the thing. So you link into the cover we were having before. There were no expectations on him. He was a good player. He can look back on his career with pride, I think. He played for some top clubs. Yeah. The guy was dancing at the Bernabeu with Cristiano Ronaldo, bro.
I have not seen, honestly, when I saw that clip here, I've never seen Ronaldo
dance
or smile like that
with any other teammate.
I've never seen him smile that much on a football pitch because he's so laser focused.
It's like he broke character, innit?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like he forgot. Oh wait, hold on, I'm not meant to be.
There's cameras around.
Yeah. And I think people. He got a lot of stick when he went to Man City. I didn't understand it at the time, and I still that celebration.
I hated him.
I would have ran into the crowd.
I didn't like him.
But after the
I
stuff,
didn't like him until I saw him in Peckham, and then I realized, he's just uncle.
Yeah.
He moved. He needed that bread. I understood what he done still.
No, I really like Adebayor. I got a lot of time for him because he performed.
Yeah,
he performed at Arsenal. Yeah. He performed that season. He had a wonderful season that season. And then the next season, he got the contract. Next season, it started as well. The crowd gave him loads of stick, unwarranted. And when he made that celebration at Man City, I couldn't say anything.
Not a thing.
Because I've been there, I'd seen what the stick that he was getting.
Some of the stuff people were saying to him.
So I fully understood it. Even being an Arsenal fan, I fully understood it.
And football fans love giving it out. And something we'll talk so many times about. Football fans love giving it out, but they can't take it.
It's the double standard. It's the double standard. Huge. How dare you offend me because I've paid £40 for my ticket,
but
so you can't offend me. Yeah,
for 90 minutes.
Well, it's just funny. You always forget the little things in ball. So in my head, he played at Real Madrid, fine, but he wasn't there the same time as Cristiano. So when I saw that, I was like, no, bro, that's big.
No,
and then he was getting managed by Mourinho. No, he was there when Mourinho was the manager.
Yeah.
He was.
Yeah. They had
so he's played under Mourinho. You know all these little tick
load.
boxes that pros have. He's played with Cristiano. He probably played against Messi in that time he was there, but I played in the Classico. He's been managed by one of the greatest
I think
managers.
They won the league.
Yeah.
When he was there.
So
elite.
Undercover.
I see what you did there.
Undercover, he's had a very good career. So let's move on to one of my favourite Arsenal players of recent times, Mesut Özil. He's retired, and so not really a good point. His retirement was quite quiet for him. You thought he might have gone out of a blaze of glory and named names and threw some people under the bus, but he kept it humble. I mean, as a non-Arsenal fan, looking from the outside, what would you say about Mesut? Like I know him.
One of my favorite players to watch. Over the years, I liked his stint at Arsenal. Probably for me, I preferred my favorite era of Mesut was at Real Madrid.
Yeah,
I think definitely, I mean, if you listen to the quote or look at the quotes of his time at Real Madrid, a lot of the players rated him very highly because he seemed to just have that ability to just put the ball on a plate. Ronaldo definitely loved playing with him.
Yeah, apparently he was very vocal about when Özil left, right? Even publicly, right?
Both Ramos and Ronaldo, if I remember correctly. I thought he was a very, very elegant player, very skillful, and knew how to play the game very well. So it was disappointing to see how it ended at Arsenal. But
any other thoughts on Mesut?
He's a G, man.
I just think, like, as I said, the way his career kind of petered out, like, I think he was too good of a player for the way that his career ended.
Yeah, true. But he had a World Cup. He, three FA Cups of Arsenal.
Yeah. Sure he would have won the league at
Real Madrid. Yeah.
I've got nothing to say about him.
Oh, yeah. Oh, dear.
Nothing to say.
Oh, dear. I'll tell you what, like, I'm going to make an exception with him because, typically I would agree about someone of his talent, even though he would say, won a World Cup and he was important in that World Cup win. He's like he just went along for the ride. He was important to Germany in that World Cup win. Mm-hmm. But I do respect not many footballers stand on their morals like he did.
Yeah.
A lot of people take their money, keep quiet, and the way he tried to speak up for the Uyghurs, the Muslims in China, the lockdown thing for me was just, it was a comedy show. It was a comedy show. Like, they vilified him for asking the questions, and then they did what he said he was asking the questions about anyway, right? So I do think that I personally would like to see more, a bit like what you see in the NBA now, right? Those guys, they don't care. They speak out. I'm rich enough now. This is my
more
thoughts on
vocal
this.
from the players who've got status.
And it's easy for me to sit on the outside because football is slightly different, especially in this country. But I will definitely have a certain level of respect for him for just standing up on certain things and speaking out when it knows it would have cost him in terms of just how people viewed him, how people talked about him, and possibly put his place at Arsenal in jeopardy. And even him having to retire from the Germany team because of all the issues around his allegiances to head of state in Turkey, etc. So yeah, I think we can look back, maybe not Daz, but the rest of us can look back on his career and fondness. And I think he was someone that, whilst he probably didn't fulfill his potential on a consistent enough basis, he can look back and say, I played for one of the two biggest teams in the world. I won the World Cup. There's not many people that can say that.
I mean, I think he done very well.
Yeah.
I think he done a lot.
7 years of Arsenal.
Arsenal squad went...
Yeah, I think if he was in this current Arsenal team...
He wouldn't get in this current
He wouldn't get in there.
I don't think
that's facts, though.
Mikel Arteta would not have him in this team
over
at all.
Odegaard.
No way.
He would.
He wouldn't.
Why don't you
make it
work?
Huh? He'd make it work.
Because what Odegaard does, bro.
Özil that arrived at Arsenal.
Özil would not
Özil
be in
that
this
was
team right now.
On the way.
Take away...
Why?
Actually...
Why?
Because Özil that arrived at
aside,
Arsenal.
Actually,
One cover.
just based on talent aside, like, you're like Özil peak and Odegaard peak, you're saying that you're taking Odegaard.
Because of the manager. Mikel Arteta, every player, 11 players have to do their job with the ball and without the ball.
Well, Özil did his job without the ball.
I'll say
the stats back
that
out.
I'll take back what I said only because I remember him at Real Madrid and I remember him even at Arsenal.
Yep.
He used to run, mate.
Well,
and I feel like
stats
in
back him
this
up.
team now, he would do the running.
Yeah, he would.
When everyone's doing the running around him and everyone's playing properly, you definitely will do it.
What's that back up with? Because I remember being out of possession playing with 10 men.
Bro, if you go back and do heat maps and distance covered, trust me, it doesn't back up that argument.
Tackles made. Presses.
Right.
Presses.
Have I moved to TalkSport? What we doing?
He ain't running around tackling people. That's not his game, bro.
On that note,
what, is he putting people under pressure?
Well, you don't play for people like Marino if you can't do that work.
The bias is setting in.
Man said tackles made. Are we talking about
Mourinho and Hazard?
Yeah.
Get back.
Right, yeah. Good luck to him, though. Good luck.
Nah, look, unless he does a lot of good work off the pitch.
No hard feelings,
and all that. Lastly, I save the best for last. Antonio Conte.
Right.
He's finally gone. Nothing we didn't expect. But people feel like he got fired for saying what everyone knows. And what everyone else has been saying, but no one from the club would say. So his position had probably become untenable for other reasons. But actually, now that he's gone, is it time, there's a lot of Spurs fans who probably feel like it's time for Daniel Levy and the rest of the ownership to answer some fundamental questions.
From an outsider's perspective, in terms of me not being a Spurs fan, I think we've all kind of known this for a while. I don't think it just started with Conte. I think this was an issue with Mourinho.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe not. What was the other Portuguese manager's name?
Andre Villas-Boas.
I was going to say him, but not him.
Nunes.
Yeah.
I forgot about him.
Nuno Santo.
I forgot about him as well.
I don't necessarily
well.
think it was him. I just think he wasn't good enough. But I think, and Pochettino he just did what he just. Listen, done what I was told. I've done quite well with this squad. Squeezed enough out of it, and just he was just about getting his job done. But I feel like with managers like Mourinho, Conte, even Villas-Boas, they were just like, listen, you lot are not seeing what's going on here. I'm trying to take us to another level, but I'm handicapped by the board. So
and the numbers don't look good. That since Daniel Levy and that ownership have taken over, they've had 11 managers and they've won 1 League Cup.
Yeah,
I mean,
not good enough.
It took over in 2001. Do you know what I mean? That you can say whatever you want to say about Conte and he's abrasive, etc., etc. But I think it's too easy for owners to hide behind the business of it, because at the end of the day, he will point to Tottenham as a relatively successful business, got the best stadium in Europe, right?
Yeah.
Or got the best stadium in the footballing world anyway, because I know America's got some amazing stadiums, but in terms of football, soccer, whatever you want to call it, probably one of the best stadiums right now. Multi-use, etc. They have invested in the squad. Even just under Conte, they spent 250 million pounds, which these days is 3 or 4 players, but they invested. But at this point, surely questions have to be asked. They won't be, because that's not how it goes in football. They're going to carry on, and we'll have this conversation next year. But this is the first time I can remember a manager getting fired for saying stuff that everyone agreed with.
But do you know why Levy won't leave, or the board won't be removed? Because their model, they have a certain specific model, the way they run the club. Like you said, is successful out off the pitch. But on the pitch, they can just point to Pochettino and say, well, he thrived under us.
Yeah, but he didn't win anything.
But he got us far. He got us to a Champions League final.
Runners up.
Was it regular though?
Title
No, they weren't even runners up. They finished 3rd, sorry.
Yeah. They got to one Champions League final.
Yeah, Champions League final.
Regular top 4.
Title challenge.
Yeah.
Okay, fair. Yeah.
Under anyone else, what have they done?
That title challenge was... Can't bring
Yeah.
that up.
You can see
where did
what's
Tottenham
coming.
go from here then?
And
What needs to fundamentally change?
I think it's the board. Like if you speak to Tottenham fans, a lot of them were saying Conte's ball wasn't great, etc. But the majority of their anger is at Levy, because he's just about getting bums on seats, getting the money out, getting the stadium. They can use it for NFL. They use it for concerts. They got the F1 go-karting coming at the end.
I mean, it's £1 billion for debt. They got to do something.
Yeah, so a lot of people saying if it doesn't change at the top, no matter who they get in, their hands are going to be tied regardless.
But if I'm him, I'll say, well, hold on. I've gone out and got the best managers in the game. Paid the money, right? So Jose wasn't a lot of money. Conte wasn't a lot of money. We both give them money to spend on their squads, right? They brought in players, etc. You could argue in today's game, did you give them enough? I would say no, right? So what more could I have done? Like if I'm Daniel Levy, what more could I have done? You've got the best facilities in the game. I brought him. Mourinho is a perennial winner, right? It's him and Pep for the last 10, 15 years.
Control.
Klopp. Yeah. Well, So you think that actually where it's failed is in the structure of the business instead of the football inside?
Yeah, I don't think the manager's got enough control.
Yeah, they need
over
to
what
give
happens.
someone control.
Yeah.
Whoever comes in, they need to give that.
But they've got a
person
director of
control.
football now, the gentleman that was at Juventus.
Yeah, look at that play.
Yeah, true. I actually think, I agree with T. I think what I would blame the ownership, therefore, is not having the right people in those roles. Because we've seen how that messed up other clubs. Man United didn't have that role for a long time. So they just spent a lot of money on players that it didn't work out. Arsenal weren't buying the right players for a long time. When they eventually got the pieces right, so the structure was there in the end. We've had more restructures in the last 2 years than the House of Cards, but
you essentially need an Edwards like Liverpool had. So when we had that transition of right, we need to go out and get an elite goalkeeper. We then got him. We need an elite centre back.
But in any business, those elite people, they're not growing on trees, right? So Liverpool had one for a period of time. A lot of people would argue that Edu isn't elite in his own, but in the current construct, it works well together, right? So actually, is there more that Daniel Levy could have done? I think there is, but if you try and look at it objectively, he's got the structure that everyone says works. Did he have the two right people in that, director of football and manager at the same time? The outcome would say probably not, because he just sacked his 11th manager. They haven't won anything. Won one trophy in 22 years. Fine. So I actually think the criticism of them is you've not put the right people in the right positions at the right time. Because everything else, if you just look at it objectively, they've done. Everyone wants a new big stadium. They've got one. Everyone wants a fantastic training ground. They've got one. You're supposed to get a director of football in the old English models. I've got one. You need to bring in elite managers. I had two. I had a guy, Conte's won 5 leagues in the last 10 years before he got to Tottenham.
But what is Tottenham's aim though?
Well, this is it.
What are they aiming for?
I think right now it's just to win a trophy.
Anything.
Anything.
Yeah, but I think Levy's aim is business first, not football. And so that's why I think he's succeeding on the business side. As John just described, everything that he's got on the business side is A1.
Yeah, but what
A1.
Yeah, no. So I think that's what it is. But me personally, maybe I'm a romantic. Your business side of your club is the most successful it can be when you're successful at football.
Yeah, they should complement each other, to be honest.
That's what drives the most sustainable success. That's why the Man Uniteds are the Man Uniteds. That's why the Liverpools are the Liverpools. That's why, as much money as Abu Dhabi wanted to pour into City, if City weren't winning stuff, it wouldn't matter. It didn't know what I mean? So I do think that they have to get to a point where they've kind of almost done it back to front. So we did Emirates, but then did everything else the long way. They need to learn those lessons. And like I said, it's not easy. Top people in any business, any walk of life, they don't grow on trees. There's a gentleman at Monaco who's highly regarded. I think he's already worked at Tottenham though. I can't remember his name. He's leaving Monaco. I think they need to get those two pieces right. And
there's not many trophies to go around.
No, there
isn't. Each season, there's not many to go around. So you're never guaranteed.
Yeah, but if you're a Spurs fan, would you just take a decent challenge now? Like, not worrying every season if you're going to scrape it in by your fingernails. Would you just take...
They always want to be in at least top
happy
4, innit?
Yeah.
With 5th.
They need a trophy, man.
And an FA Cup.
Yeah, you don't think they would be? Or you think
I think they would be. I think Spurs fans are just like, let's just win a trophy, man. Yeah. Like, even when Liverpool were bad, we were just nicking something every 3 or 4 years. Like,
it was just a League Cup.
With Arsenal
just nicking something.
FA
Cups.
Done something.
Just be
to the point where we didn't even want it. We didn't even want the FA Cup.
We started to be complacent, it's just the FA Cup. And I had to tell some fans at the time, I'm like, are you alright? There are clubs whose fans have never seen them lift anything. And you're looking down the FA Cup.
The problem with Tottenham though, like
their mentality.
Their mentality. Like when we say like Arsenal, we want to go back to the times of winning stuff, unbeaten seasons, and this and that, and to where we're winning FA Cups and we're not interested.
Yeah.
So we have to revamp. We have to go again, strip everything, bring in Arteta, Edu, this, that. Like let's just give him control. We trust him. Let's go with him. Tottenham, bring in Mourinho.
Yeah.
Bringing Conte, thinking that, we can just try and do something, get something. A League Cup, that's what they really wanted off of those managers.
They sacked Mourinho 2 days before
and I always say, you know what? That was their best chance at winning something.
Yeah, just give him the game.
Mourinho done the finals.
They done that for the money.
Yeah, a lot of people say that. They didn't want to
pay the money. They didn't want to pick it. They had to pay him if they won.
That's a madness.
They knew they were going to sack him and had to pay him more money if they won the final. If they won the final.
And Mourinho and finals.
Well, that's the mentality then. If that's right, then that is Spurs mentality.
Yeah.
I don't remember him losing the final, to be honest.
Neither do I. And I think,
No, I think he lost one at Real Madrid to Barcelona. I think it was a Spanish Cup final. Yeah,
probably.
Fair enough.
But yeah, if that is the case, if that was a factor in their thinking, because if you had to pay Mourinho some hefty, I don't know, 250, 300, whatever the numbers are, bonus, these times the winning, the prize money for winning the League Cup is 100 grand.
But if he had won the League Cup, he'd have the fans on side. So he would have bought in time. Like Levy.
If he won that League Cup, Mourinho would have dashed it on the pitch and walked off and said, like, see, I told you. You know what it's like. I told you. Okay, well, look, as an Arsenal fan, I'm not going to lie, I'm enjoying it. Long may it continue. I hope they don't get Nagelsmann. Actually, there's a school of thought that says, get Nagelsmann. He's been a lot of hype. He hasn't proved too much yet. So it might be another 1 or 2 years of pain for them.
No, I think he's serious. But I think, again, they ain't going to give him the control or whatever.
Yeah.
I see even Carrick or company, but they're not going to give them the control. You need to strip everything down, bro.
Yeah, but I think those guys is too early. If you're
way too
company or Carrick and that phone call comes,
Nagelsmann ain't going.
Yeah.
Actually, he could, but...
Yeah, I think he could. But again, goes back to the point I made. Nagelsmann, okay, up and coming, great is young. That piece above him, that director of football and the other elements around him, if you don't get that right, actually, have you now got another misplaced piece? Okay, cool. Listen, boys, it's been a pleasure. Talked about lots. There's a few things we wanted to talk about, but we didn't get to it. But we'll get to it at some point. We'll be back next week with another Centre Circle podcast.
Yeah, well done, lads.